we had some ship combat that went poorly. I don't like ship combat anymore. I'm never gonna do it again until I fix it. We're gonna retcon what happened a little bit. You made a daring escape based on some lucky fuel that you had left in the tank, and as you were escaping, you got shot by one of the big blasts, and it blew out your spike drive. And any other damage that I had you do last week, ignore it. You still have all the other stuff, so I think I took away your weapons. You still have those.
I know. I think I cleared those. Yeah, I cleared those.
Yeah. You can put them back. It was a multifocal laser and a sand thrower.
That's gonna take me a few
Is this a
minutes.
Google Doc, by the way?
No, it's the XLSX. Do you not have the latest? Oh, sorry. That's the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
Do you not have the latest version?
I haven't been keeping track of it. It would be nice if it was somewhere I could just bring up online, but
I can transfer it a bit
if
later.
you want to, if it's in a Dropbox, you can just share it at me, like share the link in Dropbox, and it'll stay synced on my end. I don't need to look at it all the time, but it just seems silly to me to have two separate counts of what day it is.
Yeah.
And also be handy for me to know how much money you have, so I can know when to give you more money.
I also don't go and typically keep my Dropbox account up to date. It is not something I use regularly enough.
If it's in Google Drive or wherever you're keeping it.
Yeah, I can go and I'll do something to get it at you.
I have all of the things. I have OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox, and Adobe Creative Cloud. So,
Ew.
yeah. I have everything. I have everything. We're also going to talk about what your pre-tech weapons are, but I gotta wait for Butch to get here for that. And then, I need to know, I think I looked at Fish, Mr. Ari. I need to know what language your guy speaks besides Common. You get one at least, and then one for every int bonus you have.
And that was actually a question that I had that we kind of never went over too much because I did things like the world after we did roles and things.
Right.
Excuse me. Is there a native language listing that I'm missing for these different planets?
I don't think I've.
I also don't know how much in fiction any of these planets have really been filled in or not filled in. So
I know what's on most of these planets, but I don't know what language they speak.
Okay.
And they're pretty metropolitan, so it's not unreasonable to have them speak more than one language. They're not unilingual, so they all speak English as sort of space common.
Yeah, exactly. They're space common, but what I wasn't sure of is, the world that I picked for this guy has the fiction already been involved there, and there's a dominant culture, or you guys have been there before.
They have never been to Roddy, so you can make that shit up.
Okay.
These are all basically habitable worlds. The idea is the places that are marked are the places in this sector that are habitable. There are probably stars or even planets in other systems, but they're not habitable for whatever reason. Or at the very least, people don't live there.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough or something. Anyway, so yeah, you can make up whatever. Most European languages are spoken. Some West Asian and languages are spoken. I don't think. I think that's probably where to pick from. I can't do a Chinese or an Indian accent that isn't wildly racist, so I'm not going to do those.
What do you mean?
So yeah, West Asian and European accents and American accents are probably that's where I'm drawing from. So those are the languages that are spoken. That said, your fearless captain, one Mr. Tacitus, does speak fluent Latin. And Alistair Whittaker Price V speaks Old English as his language because I think that these folks did not fully comprehend how the system worked with language prior to this. So,
awesome.
If you want to speak ancient High German, you can totally do that.
Space
probably
Portuguese.
Yeah.
It's an
You
option.
speak space Portuguese now? Is that what you picked?
No, but someone did.
That's right.
I think that
And
was
that
one
is
of my.
literally because they talked to someone who spoke Portuguese,
I think that was one of
like
my.
during that session, and then one of them died, probably Tim.
I think
And
that
his
one
next character
was.
spoke space
I think that was
Portuguese,
Malcolm.
which is a totally reasonable strategy, by the way. It only costs like 25% of your XP to die. So if you find yourself like if you have that one sacrificial character every round, you can actually still advance.
This is true. This is true. I believe me. I have thought about it with my HP rolls.
I believe in the ablative character system, so
I've come to
Okay,
respect it.
I think what he speaks as a second language is terrible, mangled pigeon Spanish.
Nice.
okay. Pigeon Spanish, gotcha.
Yeah.
Put that in your sheet somewhere.
Yep.
And
Doing it right now in languages.
after the cold open, you will potentially know some things. Like technically speaking, it's the cold open you don't see, but like I'll translate a few of the things for you, because there will be some pigeon English or pigeon Spanish in there. Butch is coming online now, and then we'll be able to get started. Talking about the pre-tech weapons that you found. There were only 2 in the party, and you're gonna both. I think the 2 folks who have them are probably going to be upset with me after I tell them how they work.
I forget if I'm one of those people. I don't think I am.
Let me put it simply for you. You're not going to get to use them today. For sure.
I'm patient.
You're going to have to be. Actually, I'll tell you what. If you want to roll now, I'll let you roll now, and then I'll explain what that roll means when Butch gets here. And what you need to roll is your tech pre-tech plus your intelligence. And subtract 10 from that number, if you don't mind. You're going to save me some math. I think I'm going to just roll it for Butch, too.
-5.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Well, I mean, the best I could have done was
Okay.
12. So the
Negative
best could have been
5.
2.
And he did
Positive.
-3. Okay. So the next thing I need you to roll is 2d30 plus 5d7. I'm going to roll for him too, just so I get it out of the way. Okay. Oh, man. That's bad for you. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. I'll have to explain this again, but that's fine. It's going.
Hang on. He rolled an extra 2d7 dice.
No, you didn't.
2d30 plus 5d7 compared to your.
That's correct. He did it right. So here's how it works. You look at so you get in the ship, and during the time in Spike Space, this is what you're doing, I imagine. You sit down and think about, the various, you kind of open up the Pelican case and look at the weapon, and there's some accompanying documentation, and you pull out this big book. It's like a blue sort of paper-bound book. And it has written in big black bold all capital font some letters that you don't quite recognize all the letters. Some of them, they look like English, but they're written slightly differently, and they don't spell words you recognize, and so on. But you're able to sort of piece it together, and you learn after reading through, like flipping through this document, you see a bunch of pictures of the weapon. And I keep opening my wrong prep. Yeah. Well, so you. I kind of want to do this till he gets here, but yeah. So when you look through the associated documentation, you manage to glean a name from the title of the document, but everything else is incomprehensible, and you're going to have to study it for 55 real-time days. That is not in-game. That is actual time that you have to spend.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to count them as business days, so weekends don't count. But 5 days every week, you can knock off that list.
Does MLK Day count?
Yes. So Monday through Friday, 5 days per week is how much you can knock off. Um, so uh,
This is going to be
every
back in
session,
April.
if you can find a pre-tech expert, they can help you reduce that time, that real time, by 1 week, 1d7 at a time. But I want you to be warned, artifact tech like this is very, very rare, and talking about it will probably put a target on your back from someone at some point, somewhere. The name of your gun, you had the Polygaia one, right?
Yes.
The name that you were able to discern from your gun is Our Unbridled Hate. 3 words. And you can put it in the description if you want. And you were able to sort of glean this also from the text. It is a double-barreled weapon, about 1.3 meters long, and it's black. It has stock and barrel that are intricately carved with ivy-like designs that actually glow like a sort of faint dark green color. When you pick it up, and you've been able to like assemble it basically, but not so to a functional state, a hologram actually appears over the top of the barrel, showing a magnified view of extremely distant objects, many hundreds of meters away. So that's what you're able to glean from that. Now, Butch, I did some rolls for you while you were gone, and here's how your artifact weapon works. First of all, you're not gonna be able to use it today. What happens here is you made in absentia a tech pre-tech roll against your intelligence. You're there, right? I'm not just seeing you.
Yes.
Okay. You made a tech pre-tech roll against the DC 10. The number of degrees of failure added 1d7 days to the total time, plus your 2d30 days for the base rate. That's real-time days. So for you, it will take 30 real-time days to understand this weapon enough to be able to use it. You get to take off business days only, so 5 days per week. So that works out to 6 sessions for you.
Okay.
And it looks like 11 sessions for Tacitus. Now, you're able to understand a couple of things based on what you look through in the documentation that accompanied your weapon. And yours probably was a little bit like more close to modern English than Tacitus's is. And there's two other mechanics you need to know here. So during a session, if you can find a pre-tech expert who can help you out, and you basically convince them and show them the documentation and the gun and everything, they might be able to help you take off some amount of time, and it'll be 1d7 days per time you do this. And those are, again, real-time days, not in-game days. You are able to glean some basic information about the gun. You had the Samiel Tech one. The name of your gun, and it's like inscribed on the side, is the Breath of Baal-Shiva. And I'll put that in chat because I imagine you won't be able to spell it.
It's BAL Shiva.
BA''AL Shiva, SHIVAH. It's in chat. You also you were able to like assemble it, not to a working state, but you're able to assemble it and get a good look at it. It's a short, almost sawed off. It's 0.75 meters long. It's matte black with a brown imitation wood stock, inlaid mother of pearl and etched rough-hewn runes. When held, it actually hums slightly. It has 3 barrels in a triangular arrangement. It's always a little bit cold to the touch, even in like a warm room, except for a housing around the front of the trigger, which is like a 2-finger trigger, and that housing is always warm. It's routinely covered in a thin sheen of frost, and even actually dripping like ice crystals will form on it in cold or wet places. Yeah, so that's your gun. I'll put that in chat. I'll put both of the descriptions in chat, so if you want to keep them.
I added a goal to find a pre-tech expert.
Okay. Oh, there's one other thing that you notice, Tacitus, by someone named. So you see a bunch of references to a guy named Elijah Mosette. So yours is that second double-barreled weapon thing. that part on is the description. It's definitely worth keeping around. I have it in my notes, but anyway. Okay, so let's get started. So we have one guy who speaks Spanish. I'm going to do the cold open now. And I again warn, this is longer than any of the ones I've done before, so I apologize in advance for my long-windedness. But I think you will like it. Oops, let me close this. No. Cancel. Fuck it. Put that over there. Okay. So the camera rests and fades in on a sleeping man. He's vaguely Hispanic, Caesar-style haircut. He wears a necklace with a small stylized angel who's carrying a sword. His upper arms and chest are tattooed with various religious-looking iconography. His alarm goes off and reads 7:30 a.m. The radio plays something in Spanish. Y en su frente un nombre escrito Misterio, Babilonia la Grande, la madre de las fornicaciones y de las abominaciones de la tierra. He gets up, heads to the shower. The camera stays behind him and stops outside the door as it shuts. We hear the shower start. The screen fades to black and back in on a woman. She's well-dressed, white, has black hair. She's pushing through a crowd of men and women in some sort of mall. Many of the women wear niqab and hijab and other traditional forms of dress. She finds her way into a cafe and orders a coffee. She sits at the table and begins reading quietly, but aloud. And I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints, with the blood of the martyrs. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. She reads from this leather-bound book with gilded edges. The camera is back on the first man. It's split screen now. And he's walking down a fairly sparsely populated city street to a subway station. He walks down the stairs. It's drizzly and gray. He's carrying a backpack on his shoulder. Finally, we see one more man in another split screen. He's older, gray hair, well-dressed, wearing a suit. If you could smell him, he'd smell like cologne and cigar smoke. He's drinking something brown from a tumbler with round stones in it. A woman, probably a secretary, hands him a small tablet with some writing on it. He closes a similar leather-bound book that we saw before and makes a vague symbol over himself by crossing his hands to make a bird-like winged shape. Is it time, Maria? Are they in place? The woman nods. Todo, Maria? More nodding. Then I will give the order. Pray, sir. The woman responds, Certamente vengo en breve. Amen, sister. Return to your work, and pray for our brothers and sisters. She nods and leaves the room. The man presses a button on the phone, and the camera fades away his part of the split screen. We hear dozens of cell phones buzzing, far more than the two splits that remain show. The camera pulls back and we see 4, then 16, then hundreds more individuals like the two we followed. Ciertamente vengo en breve, para el ángel, la muerte a sí misma. Hundreds of these guys say this, in unison. We see them all stand up from where they are, buses, planes, trains, cafes, restaurants, libraries, schools, interrupting their teachers and co-patrons. Then we hear a muffled, single explosion. The tiny pictures turn bright white and the sound is replaced with a high-pitched whine. It then fades to black, and Big Damn Hero stamps on the screen silently. The camera comes back in on the crew in orbit over Minushi Adilia. Their spike drive is totally broken. They have no ability to leave the system. And they're receiving a flurry of hundreds and hundreds of messages about emergency procedures. What do you do?
I hit the intercom button, and I call everyone to the ready room.
So the camera sort of sits for a minute, and we hear, you hit the button, say, get to the ready room, and everybody sort of gets up and heads over there. It seems like the new guy, Nick, Or is his name? No, his name is Carter. Excuse me. He based it on another character named Nick. He's in the sick bay still. He's recovering from his near-death experience with the alien thing. So, yeah, he doesn't come, but everybody else is there. Go ahead,
Gentlemen, we have a situation. Things aren't good. Ship is broken, and we're getting a ton of distress signals. Options?
OOC are the distress signals from other ships, or is that just from the system hailing
they're
us?
from the exchange satellites, and so they're coming from mostly from the planet. There are a few ships that are in orbit that are basically like, we're full up on refugees. If you can take some to somewhere, like pick them up and dock with us, we'll have you take them somewhere. But basically, it's everybody's in disaster relief mode.
What planet in 602 are we around right now?
Idyllia, Eidilya. I can't believe I just spelled that right. It's in chat.
Well, priority one should be fixing the ship, because if we don't have a ship that can move, we're going to be fucked regardless of what we do.
Well, that is true. Do we know what happened with all this emergency distress signals?
What are the point? Do we have a mechanic? I
We
kinda
did.
Look around at everybody.
We did have a mechanic.
Nick is not a mechanic, as far as I know.
I don't think he is. I don't think he has
No.
any astronautics.
It sounds like nobody has astronautics.
Yeah. So your mechanic wouldn't happen to have been a girl with shoulder-length hair left back there?
I don't know where she was left. We kind of blew her up, and she kind of got 8.5.
Was that before she was blown up or after?
I don't know. My memory's a little hazy.
Are we
She
really
did-
discussing about a girl getting eaten and blown up? And
She
arguing
did
about which
look-
came first?
She didn't look blown up the last time I saw her.
Oh, you're talking about that freaky girl with the black hair.
Blue hair.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was blue hair, wasn't it?
Matte
Sort of
blue.
a dark blue.
I'm a little colorblind, guys.
Every now and again, you go a little Cartman, and I like it.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
Me
We should
neither.
play
actually.
Connect Four sometime. Anyways, what is the nearest place we can go to get repairs?
You can land on the planet for repairs. This is the only place you can go, actually. You don't have a spike drive. We retconned what happened. You got shot as you were jumping out of the system and limped in on a broken spike drive, so your spike drive is toast.
I move that we land on the planet and begin repairs immediately.
Second.
I like that idea. How are our funds looking? I don't know what you guys had before we hooked up with you.
Funds are a rare bright spot. That doesn't mean we're going to pay you, though.
That's not what I was asking. I'm much more concerned with staying alive at the moment. Thank you very much. And
In
no
fact-
spike drive means we are hosed.
I was
Does
thought
that mean
making
my
a deal with
credit
your
card
captain for
application is
money.
going to be accepted finally?
Maybe.
No, but your Columbia house has gone through.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing? You decide?
Yeah, let's land on this planet and try to do some repairs.
Okay. Yeah, you
I'm working on getting you that doc, bro.
yeah, once I get that, I'll be able to give you some details on how much it's going to cost. But by which I mean it's going to be based on what kind of spike drive you have, which I do not remember.
Come on.
Yeah, so the 2 sheets I need, Tim, I don't know if you have them as separate sheets or not, but I need the ship details and your ledger with ship funds and all that.
Both are in the same file. Both
Sweet.
but 2 separate sheets. Now, if this will actually let me share,
Okay. While you work on that, yeah, so you go into land and you're sort of on autopilot because you don't have a pilot anymore. And
Well, I can
as
pilot things.
aforementioned, blown up and eaten. Um, but the
Pilot, navigator, and repair, huh?
yeah, like the yeah, well, eggs in one basket, etc. Eggs in one
Yeah.
lady, I guess. Anyway, um,
Boo.
yeah, I went there.
Gross.
Anyway, so you come in the like the ATC, or I guess the STC, the Space Traffic Control. It takes a really long time for them to like find a spot for you to land. There's a lot of traffic going on, and the person on the other end of it, it sounds like clearly exhausted. Like they're kind of sluggish on giving you instructions, much more so than normal, which is kind of important because air traffic control is not exactly a job you can be sluggish at. Um, and it's very much like they're in some dire straits. When you land, finally, it's maybe a couple hours later, and the you get some like high priority messages from the local government, basically requesting volunteer police and emergency workers, anybody who can help. They just need help, um, and they give you like a number to contact.
Can I make a culture traveler role to either know somebody on the planet or know something
Yeah,
about the local government to, maybe give us a way to cut through some of the red
yeah,
tape,
sure,
even just doing repairs?
sure, sure. Yeah, make culture traveler against your charisma. Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Yeah, who do you know? What's his name or her name?
Oh, let me pull a name generator up. Hang on a sec.
FantasyNameGenerators.com.
Raul. Their name is
Raul,
Raul.
yes.
Oh God. Okay.
As
Wait.
long
So
as the name isn't Randy.
yeah. Well, Raoul is sort of like Randy, except not.
Indeed.
So Tim, what is the current money? Yeah, ship account is 70,624.
Yep.
Okay,
I know it's a little unorganized on the other sheet, but
that's fine. You're not the math guy. I get it.
no, I'm not.
And then you have it's free merch. What's the size of this ship? Size mod 2, spike level 1. Okay. Um, yeah, so what are you other guys doing while we look for this guy's name? I know that you needed to get okay, Emmanuel LeBlanc. Okay. Yeah, so you give him a call or email or something?
Yeah, drop him a line. I think he's somebody who at some point in time had been through my neck of the woods, and
Uh-huh.
it was one of those minor favors done. Like, I might have taken him out into the wilderness. I might have, it was something really small, and he said,
Hmm.
"Hey, look me up if you're ever in the area and need a quick hand." So it's not really a "Hey buddy, how's it going?" It's more of a "Do you remember me?"
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, you give him a call and nobody picks up. You get like a voicemail and it says, this is Emmanuel LeBlanc. I'm not available at the moment. If you are in need of emergency services, please. And he gives you a bunch of different numbers. It sounds like he's involved in the emergency relief effort. And he's like, probably the number that you end up having, like when you look him up, it shows that he works with the Department of Public Works on this
Okay.
planet. Um, so. Yeah, and I know that Tacitus and you wanted to talk to repair people, so uh who are you talking to? What's your plan?
I'm gonna open up Spacebook and see what the nearest repair shop is.
Yes, you get, Bob Space Repair Inc. and you call him up and he says, "This is Bob, what can I do for you?"
Hi, Bob. Tacitus here, captain of the ship name. I
Jack
forget.
Rose.
Jack Rose. Um, we need repairs. Do you do them?
We're pretty booked up right now. What kind of repairs do you need?
Spike drive repairs.
Okay, well, it's gonna be at least a couple days before I get a tech out there. Go ahead and make a. How much you make a check? I don't know what kind of check. Make a
Business roll, maybe?
Business?
make a business roll, charisma, and we'll see how long it's gonna take for these guys to get out to you. Yeah, it's gonna take about 2-3 days to get out there. We'll send someone out as soon as we can.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Sure thing. And he takes down your information and he says, we're going to try to send our service representative, Chuck, out there.
I can't wait to see Chuck.
Okay. I'm going to write down who these people are. So,
Oh, how much is this going to cost me?
he won't know until he's going to give you a quote, basically.
Okay.
Never go with the over-the-phone estimate.
Last time we
Like,
were
he
in
probably-
Matushi, what was the planet where we had the bake-off? Was that this one?
That was this one, yes.
What about the? Do we still have their contact information? Because didn't they help us out with something? I feel like they helped
yeah,
us
you
out with
had,
ship
it was
repairs last
Jordan something or other. No, you're thinking about the first episode. You met Finlay MacLewis.
That
the
was
most
it.
Scottish. He's basically a dwarf in space, and he was related to a character that is no longer on the show. So, yeah. So in the meantime, like it's going to take a couple of days for folks to get back to you.
I mentioned to Tassus after he hangs up. Hey, 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 you! Did you check out the reviews of that place you called?
No?
What are you doing? You need to go on Spell. You gotta check them out. Let's go on Spell.
Spelp. God. Oh God.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh God. No. We've hit peak pun. You can't go any deeper than this, man. We're at the bottom, man.
But somebody's gonna try.
Challenge accepted.
I'll open up Spelp then.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess go ahead and make a business roll, Randy.
I will gladly do
Against
that. Charisma, I would imagine.
yeah, I guess.
This would be more an investigation thing, maybe intellect, but
Yeah, it doesn't. I need him to roll 2d6. That's the punchline. I think pretty much everything else on that is around 0 net. Yeah, so he's got decent reviews. He's like not 5 stars, but not 2 stars. He's a decent guy. People say, "Hey, he fixed my spike drive ship or my spike drive a couple months back, and seems to be working fine." That kind of thing.
as far as we know, he hasn't murdered anybody's cat or anything like that.
He's just this guy. He's just a dude.
Well, praise the Lord, he seems reasonable.
Good
Alright,
to know.
I'm gonna go read and stay and talk to Guy. See it. I walk out.
I like the accent has changed on Randy 3 times now.
Has it?
Um,
I haven't noticed. I told you I'm not great with accents.
You're someplace in like northern Mississippi at this point.
Listen, he's almost like boom hair a little bit. He just kind of mumbled on time, and then all right, and it's like, yeah, he goes from like northern Mississippi to like Alabama, and then over to Texas, and then it's like North Carolina. It's all over the place.
Well, see, not a lot of it is sharp enough to really be most of the Texas accents.
Yeah,
It doesn't have the
it's like-
sharp consonants.
Yeah,
I traveled a lot as a kid.
bitch, I grew up on minutia. Anyway,
Sorry, I spend all day, most days, hearing a vast array of Southern accents. So,
yeah.
To hear me butcher it, it must be refreshing.
oh dear God, it hurts. It hurts so bad.
Hurts my soul. Yeah. So, what do you guys want to do in the meantime? It's going to take at least 3 days for Chuck to get out there.
I want to make a
Um,
computer roll and see if I can revive Clippy.
Yeah, go for it. Computer's intelligence.
Son of a bitch.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna bring back
you-
Microsoft Bob.
You search through the system, and there's no trace. It's as if he was never there. And like you know that too. It's not like you failed. Like you know that he's not there. You search the whole system. It's factory fresh. There's no log files from Clippy. There's not even clip art left over from Clippy. Nothing.
Some
It's just gone.
somebody reloaded from the repair partition.
Yeah. No, like you try that and it doesn't work. He's not there either. Clippy left.
Oh, actually, I go ahead and message Tacitus. We should probably check in with Peanuts. We've been gone like a month and a half, gallivanting around a dead spaceship.
Do we have to?
Might
I've
be
always
a good
operated
idea.
under the he
you-
talked to us.
You do have a couple of messages from Peanuts.
All right, let's go to the ready room.
Do you want to like check through your messages? Is that like it sounds like what we need to do here?
Yes.
Okay, so you have the following 3 classes of message, and or 4 classes. You have spam, which you just throw away. It's advertising, that kind of thing. You have a bunch of governmental information, like basically emergency coordination stuff, calls for local people to volunteer and to be, acting police, acting firefighters, whatever, just emergency workers. And you got some of that when you landed as well. Then you have messages from Peanuts, and there's a couple of messages like, I have this job for you, call me at your earliest convenience. And then about 2 weeks ago, the tone of the messages changed from where the fuck are you to, oh my God, did you just see what happened? Like, I need to talk to you right now. This is a big deal. This is a big opportunity. And that leads up to like now. So there's a bunch of messages like, call me back now. We have to act now. Go fast, go fast, go fast. And then there's another message, there's only one of them, and it's just like a Unicode circle, and that's all there is.
Let's open the circle one first.
Okay. Inside, when you open it, you see like you know that card that you had with the circle on it? You probably put it in a wallet somewhere,
Yep.
forgot about it. It starts to like get really, really warm and buzz, and it's like in your pocket. Nothing
I take it out
shows
of
up
my
on the
pocket.
screen. So when you pull it up, there's a face on it, and it's a sort of shadowy face of a man, and he says, "I need your crew. I know you're resourceful.
Quick question.
Meet me at place."
How did you get in this business card?
I'm everywhere.
If you're everywhere, why didn't you pick the monitors in our ready room?
He just looks at you and you see his head shake and is like, not secure.
That makes sense.
He's like,
Where?
meet
can
me, and he gives you an address to go to. It's sort of on the other side of town.
Okay.
He says, bring your whole crew. And he says, including the new guys.
I'm kind of half sidling out the door as this conversation is happening, and fuck.
Yeah, and it's the really scary thing is it's facing Tacitus, and you're going out the other side of the room. There's basically no way he could see you. So think about that.
Yeah.
And he says, including the new guys. And the thing goes back to being a card with just a single circle on it. Yeah, so
That a friend of yours?
Let's use the term acquaintance.
Acquaintance is a very vague term.
He's a very vague guy.
Huh, I see.
I think as that happens, we sort of flash back to Tacitus sitting in a interrogation room with the one light and just sort of sitting there looking bored. And then it zaps back, sort of thought bubbled.
Yeah, so we should probably talk about if you guys are part of our crew or not.
Yeah, depends on what you need.
Do you want to be part of this crew?
I want to be paid.
Yeah, what you got on offer?
I have an interview. We can start with that.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of talking.
Our job is mostly talking.
And occasional giant alien mega beasts just peppered in.
From what I've seen, you do a lot of shooting and running away.
I mean, you've got admittedly a small sample size with which to judge.
Are you questioning the size of my package?
Look him up
Guilty
and down and
conscience.
say,
Second.
Needs no accuser. Okay, let's conduct an interview here. Price, can you set up the interview room?
I think Butch just stepped away, but he nods and sort of chuckles to himself as he goes off to set up another room with the appropriate interview accoutrement. He asked probably jokingly on the way out. He's like, "Do you want to use the chains or the ropes this time, boss?" What about the clamps? Do you want the clamp? And he just walks out of the room making those jokes.
Chains.
I think you actually like flip a coin too. Like Tess just like flips the coin, catches it. Yeah, chains. We'll go chains. What do you like? Actually, what do you guys think when you hear that? Like,
You sound like you've been in a little bit of a sinful nature there, son, and you should be repenting.
okay, yeah. So, you go to the interview room with Tacitus. One at a time, I assume.
Nah, group interview.
Okay, group interviews. So you guys both are in there. When you get in, it's just a normal table. There's a couple of chairs, and two on one side and one on the other side, there's probably like a little just a plastic chain that he just put on the table just to be funny. And so Tacitus, I assume you take the one chair.
Are there chairs for them?
Yes, there are 3 chairs total.
Oh. Price should be involved in this too.
Yeah, so
Call him back in.
yeah, so he brings in another chair and sits down with you.
I sit down, kind of half slouch.
Let me tell you about this job. We don't have salary. We work on commission. There's no health benefits. You pay for all your own equipment. I can provide food and quarters.
Is there dental? I
There's
need
no
my
dental.
dental. Oh, hot dog.
Doesn't sound like you get a lot of applicants.
This time on roleplay with J. Fred and company on Big Damn Heroes, we're gonna have
The HR meeting.
epic, dramatic cold open followed by interviews.
A dental
Total
insurance.
interview request live.
I think it's just the channeling of Omen Drawn at the moment.
And dental insurance. You need the dental insurance.
Interviews and dental insurance.
So Price outranks you, so you'll report to him, and Price reports to me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna ask a few questions now. Do you have any questions
Price-
before I do that?
Out of character, Price is Butch, who
Yes.
is the
Yes.
psychic. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I still don't have an entirely people's names to their in-game names to
Yep.
their Roll20 character names.
So for Butch, you can see that he has his name as Al after his name, so you can kind of do that. But Tacitus and Randy should do that as well by going to the gear icon and putting your display name as whatever the hell it is.
There you go.
That just gives me something to associate the voice talking with the name in Skype to the name in Roll20 to the character. Sorry. I don't know you guys as well yet.
That's okay. So he's asking if you have any questions before he gets started.
What's the pay gonna be like?
Okay, 1 mark for not listening. We work on commission.
Well, how do you expect me to understand with all this information flying around?
Okay, second demerit, can't multitask.
If this wasn't so funny, I'd just be like, let's just skip over this part. But it's always good. It's always good with Tacitus around because this guy's fucking nuts. All right. Yeah. So you asked some generic questions. Do you have any specific, not silly questions to ask?
Yeah. So this is a question for the both of you. Let's say you were charged with protecting someone, and that someone was captured. And then they called you asking for money. What would you do?
Well, I would go make them repent for their sins because they're clearly not on the Lord's side.
I dig through
Okay.
my pockets.
I lean over
Yeah.
to Tacitus and lean. That guy's gonna get his dick shot off. I can already
I imagine you don't say he's gonna get his dick shut off, right? You like he's gonna pull a Lorne or a Malcolm or whatever, and it's just like literally like that's the word for it now. It's like he's gonna pull Malcolm. That's how it's gonna end.
Okay, so I've got one vote for violence and another vote for scavenging for money.
More of a vote for. I don't have a whole lot of money in my pockets.
Do you have pockets?
Oh, I have all sorts of pockets.
Okay, that's +1 for preparedness. So, second question. If you were fined for accidentally entering a military area, would you A, pay the fine, B, ignore it, or C, launch a class action lawsuit?
Cut. Which one lets me shoot something?
I didn't include a D option. Shooting is also a possibility.
I'll go with that one.
Okay. Okay.
We should probably work on some sort of education reimbursement program and give him at least like a grade school level education.
Oh God.
This is also, you do realize you're telling this to just OLC, to like one with probably one of the highest scores currently in the entire
It's
group.
there's
15.
there's being smart and then there's being book smart, and I feel like that intelligence is probably like you could probably field strip a laser rifle in 30 seconds blindfolded and backwards on acid, but you probably couldn't fucking spell a word if your life depended on it.
Fair enough.
You can quote the Bible for sure,
Word for word.
Damn straight.
chapter and verse.
I'd skip the system.
Anyway,
Okay, good. Price, do you have any questions before we deliberate?
I lean over just so Tacitus hear me. I want to make it clear we are not having church services on the ship. I'm vehemently against it. Otherwise, no further comment.
Agreed. I also don't think there's enough space.
Also agreed.
so I feel like I haven't made very apparent the size of your ship. Think like if you took probably 2 or 3 Home Depots and stacked them on top of each other, that's the size of your ship. So you probably
we're
have
flying
space.
it. We're flying a city block then.
Yeah,
There's never enough room for a church service on this ship.
fair enough. Fair enough. In the
There's
figurative
room,
sense,
and then there's conceptual room.
yes, but just so that you have that, that's the volume of the ship. It's split into decks. They're slightly different sizes for different decks, but that's the idea. Is you have you're flying a city block. That's a good way to think about it.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, if you two wouldn't mind leaving, I will discuss with Price here.
Now, just to be a moderate asshole,
There's no way you can say no. By the way, I just want you to know that.
what I was going to say is on the way out, I wanted to use empathy on
Sure.
Tacitus.
Sure. Tacitus, how are you feeling right now? That's what it does, right? It's like surface level
What it
emotions.
does is I can determine the current emotions and any especially strong emotionally charged surface thoughts of the subject.
Okay.
And he can make a mental effect save to not give me up the thoughts, but I still get the general emotions.
Okay. So Tacitus, if you don't want him to read your
Kind of like a
mind,
reading the room.
yep. If you don't want him to read your mind for those surface level thoughts, you can make your save. But I think otherwise you need to give him an honest impression of your emotions and any emotionally charged thoughts that you have.
Do I make my mental save now?
Yes, you make that before you do that, and you're going to tell him your emotions honestly, regardless. But your thoughts are not necessary if you pass the save. If you
Okay.
don't care, you can just tell him the thoughts and just move on.
No, I care. I think Tacitus tries to hide whenever possible.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not something that you would know is happening.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
so I think he pretty much reads you like a book. Um, what does he read when he sort of reaches out with his mind to feel your emotions?
Tacitus is thinking he really needs new crew members, but he also wants to give them as little benefits as possible.
So he's feeling
He's
maybe like
Mr. Burns.
kind of greedy and like
Miserly.
miserly.
Word.
That's yeah. Um,
And he's
Are you-
also upset that he wasn't paid for moving them, even though he broke a deal. He struck a deal
uh-huh.
with their captain.
Do you have any thoughts about the state of the world? Like, clearly there's been this huge event that occurred. People are looking for emergency services. Do you feel anything about that?
Relatively unconcerned, sees an opportunity to make dosh.
Okay, so you're basically Scrooge. Like the feeling that you get back is like
I think is pretty clear at this point what I get back out
he's
of him.
motivated by money. Yeah, okay, cool. So, yeah. What do you want to do, Tacitus and Price? By the way, you can't say no. These are players. They're going to play, and they're going to be on the ship with you.
I added a
So-
new goal,
Okay.
by the way.
Yeah, you just have a free slot, so.
I'm thinking we could bring them on as interns, maybe assistant shipmen, first class, junior level,
We could call it like an apprenticeship program.
apprenticeship program. I like this.
Oh, God.
Apprenticeship. Okay.
I feel like in your head you're like, do I have to pay interns? No. That's what I'm gonna.
On season 3000 of Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring them back in.
Yeah, so the door opens back up and you get back in by whoever and yeah. You're all in the room now.
Okay, we've decided to bring you on a provisional status as apprentices. First level, junior class, under shipman.
What's apprentice?
It means they're screwing us over.
That's just not right.
Do you have your gun on you?
I would imagine, due to my instinct, I would probably have it.
I feel like you shoot your gun based on your instinct.
I do too.
I don't think you hit anybody. I think you're not looking to kill anybody, but you shoot your gun in the air, and it blasts a hole in the ceiling into the next deck.
Okay, well, I mean, there's your first job. Fix that.
And roll experience, by the way.
I mean, the ship kind of has enough holes in it already. I don't think we need to add any.
Well, look, you better give us better position then.
I can offer you a dentist appointment every year, paid for from ship funds.
I just look at my other interviewee person, kind of trying to read, like, is this a good deal or not?
Because you don't know. That's great.
Yep.
I got no fucking clue, man.
One mission, then we get full share. One job, after that, full share.
I feel like there should be a 3-month probationary period where we can feel you out.
I shoot my shotgun in the air again.
You don't get experience for that one, but yeah. Goes off again. Oh man.
I look around and say, you need people. You can't run a ship with as few people as you got.
All right.
Wasted.
You know he's good.
I think we can do one mission just to get paid off for rescuing you fine fellows. And I'll throw in the dental appointment.
I look over at Randy and nod.
All right, and I put away my shotgun. For now.
Yeah.
But seriously, you got to patch up those holes. Now we can't use this room. I'm gonna need a new interview room, and I walk out.
So I feel like this is worth everybody else knowing. And if you don't mind, Randy, I'd like to tell him about your instinct.
That's fine.
Yeah, his instinct is shoot first, ask questions later. And instincts aren't something you can resist. So, yeah. I suspect that the premonition about him getting his dick blown off is probably of a good probability.
May actually be something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the big reasons why I pushed that off onto provoking him rather than answering, is because mine is to deflect.
Yeah. Actually, then, yeah. Go ahead and roll XP for that. So that's
See, I don't know that it necessarily complicated me though.
No, so
That's
it
the thing.
complicated the situation. That's the metric. It complicated things. You complicated things by triggering his instinct to shoot first, ask questions later. So you can roll XP for it.
Okay.
As long as the situation becomes more complicated as a result of your action. That's it. And so for instincts, you kind of have to be on the lookout for it on your own. Because I'm not always going to be able to tell you, I'm trying to complicate things, and I'll judge whether they're complicated. But that's the idea. Okay, so... Yeah. You guys are going to do a mission for free, it sounds like. And then you'll be partners after that. This is your internship.
Junior partners, admittedly.
Okay, junior.
They can't be full partners like Price.
Well, they will. So like just
We get a full share.
practically they get a full share. Everybody gets a full share because I don't want to have fights of you
That
get
is a true statement.
16.386%. No, everybody's going to get a full share. They get one share of the ship. But you can narratively call them junior partners if that makes your character feel better.
And I still get to be better than most people.
Yes. So
they report to Price. They can't have the same.
Yes, exactly. So they're new on the ship, and he has seniority of employment by virtue of his length of time employed. So anyway, so you guys all figure out what you're doing, and a couple days roll by, and during that time, you guys probably go about your business. At some
I'm probably
point,
wandering around off the ship a lot.
yeah. So, one thing that you guys do before moving on, you do check your mail from Peanuts, and Peanuts wants to meet up with you basically ASAP. He's not on system, but he's nearby and wants to he's coming your way to talk to you. He has a job that he thinks will be very, very good for him, and therefore good for you by virtue of that. So what are you guys thinking about doing while we wait for Chuck to show up?
I want to try to teach the dog a trick.
Okay. What are you trying to teach him?
And fetch. We'll go with that.
Fetch. We'll go with fetch. Okay.
I figure that'll take some time hanging around the ship.
Yeah, let's figure out how much time it takes. I guess instructor. Yes, instructor against your wisdom, because you're like trying to impart knowledge on someone. Wow, it's probably going to take you about a week to teach him of like dedicated effort. That's a week of game time. So.
And he's teaching who?
Bandit, the dog.
Bandit.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and Randy, you probably see this pit bull running around. Got a chain on its neck, and it seems very friendly. One of its ears is kind of scarred. It's like has a bite taken out of it or something.
Ooh, pretty doggy. What's your name?
It just barks at you and like cocks its head to the side.
So your
Like
name
I don't I
beautiful.
don't speak human.
Name beautiful. Awesome.
Technically, neither does Randy.
So the thing about Randy, so first of all, it was great that was delayed on your part, Tim. Second of all, the thing that's great is he's slowly really becoming much more boomhauer. And like you're mumbling enough that I can't really tell what you're saying some of the time. I'm like, okay, Randy, sounds good.
For the show's sake,
sure.
we need to add Boomhauer subtitles.
I was
Exactly. Yeah. So if you want to boomhauer subtitle yourself, I'm probably gonna go, huh? And you're gonna have to boomhauer subtitle yourself.
That's fine. I was thinking of a different Randy reference, which I know you will get.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway. So, and it's actually probably not the reference that Ari's thinking about. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, you're teaching the dog a trick. What are the rest of you guys doing? Ari, you said you're wandering around off ship. Where about?
Yeah, I want to take at least a day to, because you said there were the calls for, volunteers or just general helping out. I probably want to spend a day kind of insinuating myself into that, just,
Uh-huh.
doing something and just reading a whole bunch of people to try and get a feel for the situation because I don't like that we've landed someplace I don't know a ton about
Uh-huh.
and there's something obviously going on. So I want to learn about that. And
Yeah,
the
so
easiest way to do that is to dive into the middle of it.
sure. So yeah, you go to the local, basically the local police station, and there's a guy behind the counter, and he says, "Can I help you, sir?"
Well, I've heard the call. They're looking
All
for
right, you're looking to volunteer?
volunteers.
Awesome. We're gonna hook you up with and he looks like a data sheet on his data pad, and he scrolls through it a bit, and he goes, looks like Holmes needs some more boys, so we're gonna send you over to him," and he gives you like basically a coordinates that he pops into your phone or whatever, and
Mhm.
it shows up with Mason Holmes, and Mason Holmes is it shows his rank. He's a police officer. He's like a lieutenant or something.
Okay.
And he's like,
And
you can go here, and whatever he needs you to do, you do it.
okay, and just to be noted, pretty much everybody that I'm interacting with, or generally people around me, I'm unless they strike me as explicitly not to be screwed with, I'm using empathy to read them.
Yeah. So I think what you're mostly feeling is the people around here are a mix of scared, exhausted, um, confused. Like it's just, I mean, literally a bomb went off, and like as you walk around, you're seeing rubble. And it's really common. It's all over the place. Dozens of buildings. This is a big city. The whole planet's kind of like populated. It's not all
Uh-huh.
city, but it's suburbs here and there, and like places in the middle of nowhere. And you're seeing on the news like rubble. In fact, it's probably kind of overwhelming for you because you're getting all of this psychic information, and it's just constant sort of a sense of despair. And yeah, it's, I mean,
But
think,
so far nothing just way out of the ordinary for a
um,
disaster has hit this place. Nobody has been way off.
no, so there are people who are like less emotionally involved, but I think it's just noise. There's just a lot of noise in it. So like you haven't found anybody specific who seems weird. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
That's kind of what I'm shooting
Yeah,
for.
like you find some people who are numb to it, and like so that has like its own psychic sort of imprint of like nothingness, right? So you empathize, you try to like use your empathy on these people, and they just don't. It's like bouncing off a dull wall. It just doesn't sound like anything anymore.
Uh-huh.
And you go to other people, and it's just like bright brass instruments. It's like incredibly intense. And so the varying moves. It's hard to do it just to everybody at once. I think if you were trying to focus on a single person, you might be able to weed out some of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit it more on people I'm interacting directly with, but yeah,
Yeah,
if the
yeah.
the background noise is basically what I would expect so far of something like this. There's
Yeah.
nothing truly
It's
strange.
sort of like 9/11 but planet wide. So it's like
Yeah.
pretty intense. There's a lot of background noise and it's difficult to really focus. I think if you
Well,
had
then
a
tomorrow I'll
specific,
be staying in the ship all day then.
yeah, I think if do you go meet this Mason Holmes guy?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
So I think when you meet him, he's got a little bit, you can read him a little bit better because you're kind of out of the way now. They've made a perimeter, and he greets you, and he's got, sort of big burly looking guy. He's wearing a police uniform, and he goes, "Are you coming in from dispatch?"
Yeah, they sent me to you.
So he reached out a hand, like sort of flat with the ground to like shake your hand, and he says, Mason Holmes, uh, we're cleaning up this rubble over here. You can you can just dig in. Shovels, gloves. He's like pointing to different areas. And I think when you read him, you get. I'm gonna make a mental effect save for him. Hold on. Hang on. I need my sheet. Oh, here it is. What is he? He's make him a warrior. M-E. It's below, right?
You need to roll above the number listed.
Okay. So I think what you get from him. Oh, this is the wrong person. Hold on. Yeah, what you get from him, you get two primary thoughts. It feels like it's Tacitus. It feels that same sort of like not it's like grimy. He feels grimy to the touch, like the psychic touch. And
So he's a post-hurricane roofing contractor.
yes, that's exactly what he is. And he's a police officer, and you can see that he has like a badge and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
it's sort of like it's fresh grime. It's not been there a long time.
He
Um,
so he he's probably seeing this as holy cow, this is my
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah. I think and you probably hear him think that this is an
Yeah.
opportunity, or something to that effect. You don't necessarily know what, but like what
No.
kind of opportunity he's thinking about. But he's interested in this being an opportunity for him.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on it, but I'm gonna dig in and work.
Yeah, and you meet some other people in the crew, and most of them just normal folks. Like, you talk to them a little bit, you learn where they're from. They're from, out of town or whatever. They're from a place that wasn't hit as hard.
Mhm.
Guy talks about his wife like making stuff for people, and she's making quilts for whoever, and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, that's kind of what you pick up. Now, while you're doing that, we've got Al teaching Bandit a trick. We've got you helping out with the disaster relief. Randy, what are you doing?
I happen to, I imagine like I have kind of almost a pouch almost that I can strap my shotgun to on my leg. I take that
Yeah,
and
you kind of like maybe you have like a sawed off, and you have like a holster for it that's on your leg.
something like that. But I basically take that with my shotgun and I go out on to the street near where one of the disaster areas is and just start street preaching.
Okay, yeah, so you're out there, screaming the word of God and like feeling pretty good about yourself. People kind of give you a weird look. They don't. They're like, we don't get a lot of Christians around here. Like probably people stop you and be like, we don't get a lot of like maybe you'd be better served in a church. And he's like, why don't you go over here? And people are like moving you out of the way sometimes. The police stop by a few times. You actually see like a police officer come by and like look at you, make sure you're not rousing any rebel. So while you're doing that, Tacitus, I think you're last. So what are you doing?
Taking the alien blood and putting it in our mass spectrometer.
Now,
I should say my mass spectrometer.
yeah. So what else have you put in the mass spec?
Just the business card.
Okay. So, as I recall, the business card was actually made out of trees. It was actually dead, like dead paper.
Yep.
Or dead trees or whatever. You don't have any reference for this, so if you want, you can make a roll to see if you can find one on the internet. But alternately, you can just hold on to it and not, potentially expose what you're looking for to the all-seeing eye of the government. and just you'll have something that you can later compare to.
I won't do any searching.
Okay. So yeah, you can put somewhere that you have a spectrographic readout and like sort of you probably don't just mass spec it. You probably like DNA sequence it and stuff. And you've built some other tools that you can get off the shelf. I mean, DNA sequencing isn't common, but you could probably like figure that out. So you probably didn't build just a mass spec. You probably have a lab. That's what I'm thinking. So
That makes sense.
yeah. So, yeah, if you want to at some point roll for that, it'll be a science roll against your intelligence.
I'll roll for it now then.
Okay. Yeah. So I think
I think
head
I'm
out
gonna
on the-
re-roll that actually.
Okay. Yeah. So you start searching and you're typing in some search terms and you're trying to figure it out and you realize that you're just not you're looking in the wrong place. You went to you went to this one archive of scientific research and you realize no, I shouldn't be looking in the chemical thing. I should be looking in the biological thing or something like that. And you look at another site and you eventually find yourself in sort of like the National History Museum for whatever reason. You end up at their website and in their journal index, and you see a lot of references to research like archaeologists that are like sector archaeologists, and there's a lot of references to the Braillemen, the aliens that formerly inhabited this sector before the Mandate got here. So, what kind of things are you looking to learn about the Braillemen? You can ask like one or two questions, and I will answer them honestly.
Hmm.
You can think about it if you want to take some time.
I'm gonna think about it.
Okay. So roll 1d2. I will answer one question about the Braillemen, anything you want about their history or physiology or whatever, and that's what you learn. I will answer it honestly. Within reason. Like you can't be like, what are you going to use the Braillemen for, Joe? But like honest questions about their, in character universe is reasonable. Yeah. So a few days pass, and over that time, Ari, I think you keep an eye on this Mason guy, and he kind of like approaches you a couple times and says, good work today. I think tomorrow I might have something special for you to work on. You seem to be doing real good. I got a couple of people that I got a special job for, and I want to know if you're interested in that.
I appreciate it. Good work's always hard to find.
Yeah, and as he's speaking, it's like his words are covered in grease. It's just like this. It feels dirty to talk to him.
Yeah. And so I kind of do yeah, okay, I'll, same place, same time tomorrow. And that first evening or late afternoon, whatever, of getting back to the ship, I want to kind of pull Tacitus aside and let him know about this guy and say, look, this opportunity. I don't know what he's up to, but something's going on.
Okay. Yeah. So Tacitus, he tells you about this. What do you think about that?
Guy gives me an odd feeling. I think he's useful, or he's up to something. There's money.
Like, what sort of odd feeling are you getting? Like, easy money or hard money?
I don't know. He's doing something different than everybody else, though. He's onto something.
Interesting.
Wants me back tomorrow. Might be something in it for you.
Do you want to go back tomorrow?
Can always figure out what he's doing.
More information is always helpful, and we are a bit blind on this planet.
So I'm thinking, you want to back my play?
Yeah, let's do this. Do you need backup?
Second set eyes wouldn't hurt.
Okay. I can come along tomorrow under the guise of helping.
I don't know if you want to be directly involved or if you want to just watch, but something's going on. And I think there's something in it for us if we play it right.
I think it makes sense if I just come as another volunteer.
Sounds good. You don't know me.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Okay. Yeah, so we we see this little scene play out, and it slowly fades over to we see Randy coming back in from a day of street preaching, and Al is teaching the dog some tricks. And he's working on it. It's been now a day, so mark off yourself a day in your training time there, Al. Yeah, so like you come in, Randy, and I imagine you're probably tired. You got your Bible with you and your shotgun, and you see Al there. Do you say anything to him, or you just...
Nah, I just gotta go and pass out.
Al, do you say anything at Randy?
Did you have a good sermon today?
Hot dog, yeah, I did.
I really don't give a shit.
Hey, did you? I don't care.
Well, you need to get right with the Lord, son, because that just ain't right.
I just go back to playing with the dog.
Yeah, and I think Bandit sort of like cocks his head at Randy and then looks over at Al and is like, "Is this guy for real?" And he goes back to like chewing on something and clearly not learning the trick. It's just like you're like throwing the stick, and she doesn't wait for the stick to land. Like she grabs it out of your hand while you're trying to throw it. She'll like run behind you and grab at it.
What did you learn today? Sticks taste good, and he throws really slowly.
Yeah. I think that there's probably some there's like some, you're probably playing in like the cargo bay, and there's like netting. It's sort of around, and so sometimes Bandit doesn't understand that the netting is a thing, and so she just runs into the netting and sees the stick go and then wonders what happened. Sort of that cargo netting stuff. Anyway, so yeah, the next day rolls around, and Ari and Tassis, you're heading out to meet up with this Mason fella. Are you bringing anybody else with you, or is it just you two?
That's entirely up to Tacitus.
Mhm.
I sort of zeroed in on him as the one who would be interested in something like this. So
I think it's just us two.
Mhm.
Keep it on the DL. See what happens.
Okay, yeah. So you head out to meet him, and you're meeting him in a place that you haven't been working. And as far as you know, based on like what you've been watching and sort of keeping your ear to the ground on, Ari, this place wasn't really affected very much by. There's like a few minor things. Some rioting had broken out and caused some trouble, and there's a few like busted up businesses, but there's nothing like majorly destroyed. There's certainly areas you should be going first. Much more highly affected areas. This is not ground zero, basically. And I think that you get there, and there's like one other guy, and Mason, and then you two. And when you kind of at this point you have like a clear read on Mason. You can kind of always read him. But for some reason it's really hard right now. Everything is kind of fuzzy, and you can't quite you don't really get anything from him. And it's not like he's not feeling anything. It's like you can't pierce something. There's something in the way. So yeah, you get there, and Mason looks at you and he's like, "All right, so I got some special orders from the uppity ups, and the brass want us to go in, and he's sort of you're near like a strip mall, essentially like a main drag or something, and a bunch of the windows are busted up. He's like, they want us to go in here and make sure that any valuables that these business owners had are properly accounted for and brought back to the station so that they're protected from rioting. There's been a lot of rioting in this area, and we need to collect them and make sure that's not going to be a problem. Y'all good with that? Y'all understand?
basic inventory. Yep.
And he says now, Logan here. He's Logan Bailey, my buddy. He's gonna drive the truck. I'm gonna start at the other end. I got another guy down there, Zach. He's a good guy. He's gonna help me out, and then you guys start from this end, and we'll just meet in the middle. And he says there's some wheelbarrow and a couple pallets and things you can move around stuff on. And don't worry too much about like the convenience stores and stuff. That it's all perishable goods, not a big deal. Go in there, make sure there's nothing super that someone would miss. Make sure you take that stuff out and then put it in the truck, and we'll be good to go.
Are we logging it?
Yeah, we'll log it once it's in the truck. Just take note as you get to the truck. Just mention which place it's from. There's probably not a lot. I mean, the rioters came through and took everything. So, if you find anything that's left, let's make sure we get that. But it's not so important that we get totally accurate logs. Most of these people are probably dead. Oh.
I nod like I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So I'm playing kind of clueless, or kind of just going along with it.
Yeah, he doesn't even notice. He's preoccupied with other plans. So Tacitus and you are sent off to one side. You can't get a read on anybody nearby, including Tacitus. Actually, it's just sort of like everything's a little bit blank. So what do you guys do? Like you head down the street and you enter the first, or like you see the first business. It's like maybe like a little electronics shop or something, hardware store maybe. Mom and pop.
Is it just me and Tacitus, or did he leave the third guy there with us?
It's just you and Tacitus. The other guy is sort of going back and forth with the truck, and picking up stuff. He's around every couple minutes, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna cover Tacitus and say, "What do you think? He's got an angle. I think it's looting. Might be insurance."
I'm definitely feeling the looting angle. It's pretty sharp. You might say, acute.
The puns. No, that's just not right.
The pun or the looting angle?
Exactly.
Committing wholesale. That's Tacitus way. Anyway,
Hey, I had to feed him the next opening line there.
it was all your fault.
I'll take the blame.
All right, so what are you guys planning to do now? Are you gonna help this guy out?
Look over Tacitus and say, "Your call. What's the play?"
I think we help this guy out and then go report him and claim a reward. Hopefully there's a reward.
There might be. I think stuff's kind of in chaos right now, so I don't know how much it's going to be, but works for me.
Yeah, I'm more interested in making legal money than illegal money.
Agreed.
Legal greed.
So today we play his game then?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So you're going through these stores, and you go through this hardware store, and there's a cash register, there's lots of money in it. It's interesting because a lot of these places have a lot of stuff. Like normally when rioters go through places, it's not.
These don't look looted.
Yeah, it's not like they break a window and then walk away. They're breaking a window so they can get stuff.
This looks like a place that's been made to look like it was looted,
yeah,
so that we can come in afterwards.
It's so poorly done that you don't even have to roll for it. Like some of the places, literally the lock has been jimmied and that was it, or like the front window's broken.
Okay. I try and make sure we take note of any, store names, addresses, anything that might identify business owners. Just kind of try and keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I think you had a couple of back offices, and I think that like you see some pictures and stuff of like people and their families, and guy with his kids or whatever, and there are a few of them have like safes, like sort of like little wall safes or floor safes, or small things where they probably keep petty cash and that kind of thing. There's a few places that have valuables. There's like one sort of eclectics store. It's just knickknacks and stuff, and they have some basic jewelry. Um, and most of the places have cash registers, a couple hundred credits in each. What type of things are you collecting out of these places?
I guess
Uh.
things that the officer said he was looking for, the valuable things.
Okay. Yes, you taking
Yeah,
like the
small
jewelry and
portable
stuff.
valuables. Yeah.
Are you trying to get into the safes?
I don't think I have any security skill to speak of on this guy. Let me double check.
I'm not, but
Yeah,
I do have
I'm-
I'm thinking more from like the moral point of view, because the thing about a security skill
No.
is like you only need that if you need to do it quickly. Like you probably could figure out how to get into one of these safes if you had to.
Yeah. Well, I was mostly looking at it like I couldn't remember if that was a thing that this guy had unlocked and therefore would be
I mean, yeah,
a thing he would think of to really do, but no. I think that would be not where I would go with it.
okay. And I mean, you can always roll even at a -1. You can learn about the situation. So
Yeah.
um,
But no, I don't think that would be his instinct to
Okay.
go into the safe. I think what I'm trying to do at least is do the superficial, make it look like we're taking all the good shit.
yeah. So
I'm trying to make it so that we're making a good show of it for this guy today.
yeah. So I think you guys spend a couple of hours there, and about. Let's see. Let me think about this. Let's do this. I think it probably takes you about 3. Well, I'll just roll for it. Roll. There's going to be 1d4 hours, so 4 hours. And 1, 2. Okay. Yeah. So I think here's how I'm going to do this. I think what happens is, like within the first hour of you guys working on this, you're going through these buildings. A sort of grav car pulls up, and it's like a sedan, right? So it's not marked or anything. And he's driving down the road. He sees the truck, and he sees people moving in and out of these shops, and he stops sort of dead in front of one of the shops on the other end of the street, and the door opens, and he screams, "What the hell are you doing?"
To both of us?
No, to the other guys.
Oh,
And
okay.
you hear just some more indistinct screaming at the other end of the street, and you can hear Mason yelling back, like, I don't, what do it's fine, where I'm a cop, whatever. He's like showing his badge and trying to like play the guy off. What do you guys do when you hear this?
I'm gonna watch from a distance.
Okay.
Maybe even hide myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still not getting much of a read on anything, so I think I'm going to try and stay hidden as well.
Yeah. So you both make stealth checks against your dexterity. It's not too hard to hide. You're sort of poking your head around a corner. Yeah, so you guys sort of are in the shop, and you hear this going on. You kind of walk to the edge of the shop closest to him, so you got the wall there, and just kind of looking around. Maybe there's a mirror or something you're looking in, or some mirrored surface. And yeah, you see this man, probably mid-40s, wearing slacks and a polo shirt, and sort of looks a little bit older. He's basically yelling at Mason, who keeps like pointing to his badge, making some gestures, and you see at some point Mason sort of drop one of his hands to his side, and put one hand out in front of him, just sort of like holding, like the guy isn't all that close to him, but
He's doing the universal back off. I have
he's
a
doing
gun.
like that. Yeah,
Did
that's
you
sort of
forget I
like
have a gun.
yeah. And his hand's just limp at his side. He's not like on his holster or anything, but he's got his hand out in front of him, like back off. And the guy is not. He's not really paying much attention to that. He's yelling. He's like, "Why are you in my store? What's going on?" Nobody told me about this. You hear that a lot.
Am I still getting basically fuzz, or
I
has that
think you're
cleared up at
getting
all?
you're getting something from the new guy,
Okay.
the guy who just pulled in, and it's confusion, it's it's anger, it's fear, but there's nothing more specific than that. It's just intense, sort of that kind of emotion. So, um, yeah.
I look over at
If
Tassus and
if
say,
you want to read him specifically, you can probably get some thoughts out of it, but you'd have to spend points for that.
well, I actually have the level 1 is mastered so that I don't have to
Okay.
spend
Okay.
points.
Cool. Yeah. Then yeah, definitely.
That's why I was saying that
Oh.
I'm
Oh.
using
Okay.
it
Yeah. So
fairly
that's why. So
liberally.
I didn't. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I totally forgot
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the.
You gotta. So if you're gonna use any skill that you have mastered, make sure you tell me that it's mastered. Otherwise, especially with skills like that, then yeah, I think definitely you're hearing this guy's thoughts. He's like, "Why is this guy robbing me?" That's what he's thinking. This guy is robbing me right now. Um,
Okay. Um. Shit.
Situation doesn't look so good.
No, I think this is about to be blown before we can do anything about it.
We could call the cops.
Do we know who would be in league with this guy or not, though?
Good point.
If we call and it's his buddies, we screwed ourselves because we didn't take enough time. Shit.
Do any of
I'm
these
going to go ahead.
do any of these stores have security cameras?
make a check of some kind. Hold on. Probably a security check to know where the security cameras are. Maybe an investigation. I could buy that too. If you think of another good one, holler before you make the check.
Bureaucracy for knowing how things are built.
Well, actually, I would let you roll bureaucracy to know if it's required that they have security cameras. But that might not help you with your specific problem. I mean, if it's required, then clearly some of them have security cameras. But if it's not, then you wouldn't really gain anything.
I think I'll do some sort of investigation.
Yeah, I think
There's not a
perception-
specific investigative, but perception
perception.
probably for that.
Yeah. Well, perception, wisdom, because you're searching. So wisdom for me is like awareness. So
Yeah.
you're just looking around for stuff. Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, there's security cameras. Not in this store, but like in other stores you've seen, the blinking red light and that kind of thing.
Do they point out to the street? Are there
Um,
any on the street level?
They could be made to.
I think we have our plan.
Catch him on camera, use evidence, blackmail.
I was thinking more of catching on camera and use as evidence, but blackmail is also an option if we were feeling devious.
Do either of you have weapons on you, by the way?
No,
Not
I wouldn't
I.
have brought any.
Okay.
Nope.
If
Nope,
you
nor
wanted
would I.
them, you can roll luck check for them. That's what I was gonna make you do. But
I only have one weapon. It would not be inconspicuous.
okay. All right. So yeah. Yeah. You guys want to point the cameras at them, and then that's easy enough. You probably pop out of the shop. The guy doesn't even notice you. He's livid, and still yelling. And the guy. in the
Tacitus,
tr-
do you want me to? Want me to go see if I can step in, calm this down?
I don't think you should step in. I think this is about to go.
Because he knows.
Mhm.
We're gonna be blown one way or the other. This just went sideways.
We should stay as far away as possible, I think.
Okay. Now, by this point, it's been a day or two. Have I heard anything back from the guy I left the voicemail for, who's in Public Works?
Yeah, I think
Because I think this would be when I would be very definitely trying to get him in on this.
Yeah,
Like, look,
so roll a luck check. I had a number, but maybe you got lucky.
okay,
Yeah, so it turns out, as you change the camera over, you're talking to Tacitus, and you feel a buzz in your pocket, and the name says, was it Emmanuel LeBlanc?
I believe so. I'm scrolling up. Emmanuel LeBlanc, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right,
it's shows up.
I pull it out and answer and say, "Your timing could not have been better."
Goes, okay, who is this?
Okay, remember when you were on Ibernallo a couple years back?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I was doing loan work for them.
Yes, you got yourself stuck out in the middle of nowhere. I ended up
Yes,
helping
yes,
you out and
yes,
getting you
yes,
back.
of course.
Yes, yes.
And he like you can hear him snapping his fingers. He's like, je ne pas, and he goes, Ari, is Ari? Is that your?
This is
Andy?
Ari. Yes.
Ah, okay, Ari. Yes, of course I remember you, Ari. I would never forget. What can I do for you?
Do you have cops that you trust? Because I'm going to gift wrap you a promotion.
I work for the DPW. I do not deal with the police very often. Are you having a police problem?
Well, right now, we just found somebody who is helping himself in the chaos you have going on.
Chrissy de Doubleneck. And you can hear him shouting something in French, Canadian accent in French, if you're curious. And he says, I will talk to. I have a friend in the guard in the army, and I have worked with him before. I will call him. He will call someone. And where are you?
I give him the address and I say the person that we've confirmed is doing this has a badge. He is working with at least some of the dispatch and the relief efforts. So there's probably more of them.
Do you have his name?
What's the guy's name? I give him the guy's name. I don't remember.
Yeah. Mason Holmes.
Mason Holmes, yes.
And yeah, give him name, rank, and so on. And he goes,
and
okay.
I make sure he knows that Mason has at least a couple of guys that are his guys here.
Right. Yeah. So he goes, okay. It will be a few moments to. And he's like, you can hear him typing and like clicking other things and yelling it in French to someone. And he goes, I have him on the other line. I'm going to speak to him. I will call you back as soon as I know anything more. Is anyone in danger? Or is it you? Or is there how many are people with you?
I got one with me. We're good right now. He thinks we're working with him, but there is a business owner here confronting him. This could escalate if somebody doesn't get here quickly.
You hear him just like, and he just like sort of, you can hear him swearing in French, and you have metalinguistics technically, so you probably like can pick up a little bit of that. Just psychically, you like know that some words mean things.
Yeah,
you don't know everything he's saying, but you know
French does share a lot of words in construction with
so
the
like
Spanish that I know, so I probably know a lot of the swear words.
Yeah, so like you pick out the swear words that are similar to the Spanish ones. A lot of the swears that he's saying, you can hear him say like Christ and blood and sacred and those sorts of words a lot. And he tends to just string them in one long sentence for it doesn't mean anything. He's just saying the words. So like
it's just that general purpose. Anything that comes to mind that's rude and stress relieving.
Well, aside, the interesting thing about Canadian French, the way they curse is they just say a lot of religious stuff because that's like the people who moved there originally were super religious Catholics. So anyway,
and I make sure that as I get an opening, I say, Emmanuel, I'm sorry about what happened here. This isn't how I wanted to talk to you again.
It is all right, and you get the sense that he's like, this is the least of my worry. Like it's sort of that feeling you get when someone's like apologizing to you, and you're like, why the hell are you apologizing to me? this is exactly what like this is okay. I'm not worried about this. And yeah, he's like, I'll call you back, or he's like, I'll text you back once I know more. And he says, if you can get the guy out of there,
Okay.
like try to prevent anything bad from happening. Like this is already bad enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hangs up, and I'm gonna make a roll. I'm gonna do something I don't usually do, which is make it in secret, and it's gonna be the number of minutes it's gonna take.
Before shit hits the fan.
It's actually, I'm gonna do two rolls then. Yes, the number of minutes for help to arrive, and the number of minutes before shit hits the fan. Go ahead. What do you want to do?
I look over at Tacitus and I say, it sounds like we had to play our hand quicker than we thought. Help's on the way, but we need to go defuse this bomb right now. Otherwise, someone's going to get hurt. And
Well-
we won't be able to get any money out of this.
Lucky for you,
Or
I got
pound.
a royal flush.
Oh God.
It's a poker joke, get it?
Yes. We get it. We get it.
And I take out my camera. I actually have a camera. I want to take it out.
You have a camera. Okay, you take out a camera.
I take a picture of the
all right.
scene unfolding in front of me.
So the picture that you get is a picture of a police officer holding his hand out in front of an angry man with his hand on his gun. And a truck nearby.
Okay. I'll be honest, that was my only plan. I really don't have a second plan.
So and it's a nice 3D picture, but you don't have you have to walk around in order to get the 3D picture. And it's more like the camera's like part of your phone. It's just like you got the enhancement that you have like the camera phone rather than just the regular phone. And it includes other things like a voice recorder and all that. So
I kind of sigh at your plan as a camera. And
I mean, it was something, all right?
all right, follow my lead. And I head over to Mason and our new businessman friend.
mm-hmm.
I follow.
Yeah. So you walk up to him and
I want to make sure that I'm conspicuously carrying a bag or at least a handful of something out of the store that we're coming from.
yeah.
Like I am being I am playing up the do just carrying stuff.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got some kind of let's say you were in a Radio Shack, so you just got phones.
I was gonna say
phones and boxes
like
of stuff,
data
iPods,
slabs or something. Yeah.
data slab, a couple of data slab, iPads and shit. You were in an Apple store basically.
A bunch of things.
Yeah, space things,
Spy
space
thing.
space pads, space phones,
Gotta have the space pad.
Spacebook Pros. Yeah. Space Max.
Okay,
Can we
so
call them smacks?
Yes.
they're now Smacks. That's canon. Smack is the computer brand.
It's
that
in
won
fact
out.
it's Macintosh is a Space Macintosh, and they just shortened it to Macintosh. It's the name of the computer company. They make basically all the phones.
Yep.
They do have one competitor. Data.
Don't even tell me it's. What's that?
Data is the name of their competitor because he's an Android. The puns are real. The puns are real.
You're not going to go with Tweaky?
No.
Oh. So I want to walk up to Mason, carrying a handful of these and say, there's a lot of these in the store. I don't know if we can fit all of them in the truck.
Yeah, and he just sort of darts half a look at you and then goes back to arguing with the guy. He's like, "The hell are you doing? Just get back! God damn it!" And the guy is furious, and he's not even making sense anymore. He's just screaming, just he's not. There's no words there. Even if you were to apply metalinguistics, you would not know what he's saying. He's just angry.
It's incoherent rage.
And he's basically I can't believe you're doing that. He's it's righteous rage. It's the idea he's not pissed about losing his shit. He's pissed that anyone would fucking think to do this.
Well, yeah, it's the I've been violated. I am
Yeah. Well, it's
I
not
am
just that
livid.
he's been violated. Like the feeling you're getting is like he feels righteous about this. He feels like
Yeah.
this is something I have to do for the good of humanity. Um, I like empaths. It's easy because now I can just tell you what people's motivations are. Fucking broken. Like, yeah, this guy fucking hates black people. You should kill him.
Well, there is something to be said for mastering your level 1 disciplines.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that, well, it does really kind of fit with where I was going with this guy anyway, to have that be the constant, just like, you know,
Flow. Yeah, so
the,
like
the constant flow, and also just the constant, he's scared so much of the time
yeah.
that this is his defense. This is his only defense, is
Yeah.
constantly scanning around to see when shit's gonna break.
Okay. Yeah. So like the way I always planned to treat. So we had the first episode. We had a guy who didn't stay on the show because it's too much work, basically, or in the game rather. And I think about this as a TV show, like a soap opera, and so I watch it once a week. It's very nice.
Days of Our Big Damn Heroes.
Yeah, Days of Our Big Damn Heroes. And he was playing an empath. I'm like, this is kind of a shitty first level skill, because like you don't get that much for it. And I'm like, all right, so I think what I'm gonna do is like I'll give you the general feeling of a room for free, but if you want to know the thoughts, you have to master it or like use it. And I think that like mastering these things, especially telekinesis, teleporting, and telepathy. Those ones, if you don't master your first level skill, you're kind of just SOL.
Yeah, exactly, because you would have to use them so many times, and you have such limited points at low levels.
Yeah. All right.
But,
So in any
Um,
case, so
so
this guy's losing his shit, and you still can't really read Mason, and you see that the guy he's with, his name was Logan.
Logan, yeah.
He's looking really like tired. He's just like oddly tired too. Like he's been working, but he's not been working. He's been working about as hard as you, and you're not tired.
Hmm. So he's looking drained, basically.
Yeah. Like his face is a little drawn. He's kind of blinking a lot.
So if I try and do a directed empathy at him, then like
There might be a role involved. Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to see if I can actually get a read on him.
Okay. I think. Can you make a mental effect save?
Yes. I can't pass one, but I can make one.
So yeah, what happens when you try to read him? He winces in pain, and then you get essentially it's like listening to feedback. It's just like in your ear, that high pitched whine, and you're sort of staggered, and you probably drop whatever you're carrying. You just on the ground, makes a big racket, probably breaks everywhere.
Yeah, and I just start apologizing to Mason and to the businessman who I probably dropped some of these on.
Yeah, are you like
And-
walking towards the businessman?
Yeah, I think I probably actually stagger into him.
Yeah, so like you knock into him, and he's now looking at you like you're just as bad as everybody else. He's pissed off at everybody.
Yeah, and I probably dropped some of this on him, and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We've been working for most of the day. I'm just exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much of this that we've had to take out of here.
Yeah, Tacitus, what are you doing?
I am observing the situation cautiously.
From a distance?
I'm right there next to him.
Okay, so yeah, you're up sort of maybe a little behind everybody and just like watching, going, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so
Back my play, man. I'm the distraction.
I think the guy looks at you and looks at Mason and he goes, I can't fucking believe you people are robbing people after this. Are you even kidding? And he's just like, and he looks at you, Ari, and he goes, and you're doing
Say,
it like
no, no,
it
no.
was like you were, what? And he just looks at you, and he just like
So
fury.
no,
That's what you get.
I just say no. This is security. We're transporting valuables to safety, right?
Transport. If you're transporting valuables to safety, why didn't they call the business owners, huh? You're robbing these people. That's what you're fucking doing. You fucking. And he just starts swearing. All you get is fury. This guy is like inches from punching you.
I look over and I say, which one is yours?
And he goes, "Which one was mine? What the fuck do you care? You're a fucking thief."
Because I want to help you check and make sure nothing's gone. That's what we're here for,
Because
right?
it's the one you just walked out of, asshole. And he roll initiative. We'll see if you can duck. He is a civilian, so he's gonna get a -1. Yeah, so you duck. He throws a punch, and let's see if the following happens. As he's throwing this punch, you hear sirens in the background, and then one more second here. What's his dex? 2 +1. Yep. Yeah. So here's the sequence of events. Mason draws his gun as he sees him wind up this punch. He's now pointing the gun at the guy. He hasn't pulled the trigger. The guy goes to punch you. You duck. Sirens go off. They're about 100, 200 meters away. And Mason shoots the guy with a laser gun of some description. I'm sorry, he has a semi-auto pistol. And he's shot dead on the street. And he collapses to the ground. And a couple of police cars come up. You feel your phone buzz. It's probably been buzzing for a while, but you were in the middle of stuff. And it's probably like you ducked and it maybe fell out of your pocket and the camera looks at it and it's from a manual. He's like, they should be there by now. And the police get out and they pull their guns on the other guy. And he raises his hands in the air and lets his gun sort of just drop limp on his wrist. So it's like holding it by the trigger guard. And his hands are up and he goes, "It was a good shoot. It was a good shoot. He was assaulting that guy."
Oh, shit.
And he looks back at Logan. He's like, "That guy can vouch for me. I don't know who these people are."
I say, but Mason, what's going on?
And he goes, "I don't know who you are. How do you know my name?"
I look over the cops. What are the cops doing right now?
The cops are confused as all fuck. You can read them like a book. They're like, I don't know what they're scared. Like it's all the normal like emotions that you would get in like a situation where you're thinking that someone might get killed, or someone was killed. Yeah, like they say put the gun down. One of them is so there are 4 of them total. One of them is walking around towards Logan and like puts him on the ground, arrests him, and he's on the ground now. Goes around to the, another one's going over to Mason. So there are 2 working and 2 like covering them, and they go up to each person in order. So the guy who arrests Logan then goes past you to the guy who's on the ground, and one of them is saying, "Which one of you is Ari?" And yeah, what do you say?
I say, yeah, I look at Tacitus.
I nod up and down very subtly.
Yeah,
Sort of like just a tiny inch downwards.
Yeah, just sort of that like, yeah, you should say something.
Yeah. Who's asking?
It's like the police are asking, you should answer. And
So I can't help it.
yeah. So I think the next thing happens is they've now got the guy with the gun out of the way. They come over to you, Tassus. They arrest you.
So they've got the gun out of play now.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was waiting for.
And also, they arrest everybody involved. He says, "We'll figure it out down at the station." And one of the officers stays behind. They call on a paddy wagon who's right behind. They put
Okay.
you all in the back of the paddy wagon together.
As
Uh,
they're
Go ahead and roll your instinct, by the way. Your need to deflect indeed has caused some trouble. There was an
yeah.
easy way out of that and a hard way.
Oh, I know, and I wasn't taking the easy way, but I want to tell the officers cameras in whatever the name of the store we were in.
Yeah.
I
And
just
they go, yeah, fine, fine, tell it to the judge.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys get booked. And you're in the back of the van, heading back. Ooh, that was not a good roll for you.
You know how I roll?
Yeah. The mean on that is 90 experience, so
Yeah, I know.
it was several standard deviations away. Anyway, yeah, the guy. It's true. I don't think you've had a good roll. Man, you had a good initiative roll. That wasn't bad.
Good luck roll too.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're in the back of the van with Mason, Logan, who's total at this point, just completely incapable of like rational thought. He's just exhausted. You can read Mason, no problem. He's wearing a cop's uniform. They booked him because he shot a guy. I think actually he's probably not. He's probably riding in like the front part of the paddy wagon. They didn't
Separate from the
arrest
rest of
him.
us.
They didn't arrest him, but they didn't like they took his gun, they took his badge to make
They
sure that
took
he
him
could.
into custody.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's what happens after a shoot occurs. You give the guy your gun and badge, and you don't work for the next couple days, and that's sort of what's happening here. You can hear him talking to the officer up front, and the officer doesn't. He's not really paying attention. He doesn't really know this guy, and you can feel that he's a little bit worried. Logan, the guy who looks spent, he just seems tired. Like he doesn't have any emotion because he's just basically asleep. And Zach, this other guy that they arrested, he was in the truck. He's back there and he's like worried and scared, upset, that kind of thing.
So he's in the back with us. Zach was his other helper.
Yeah, he was the guy driving the truck. And then you and Tacitus are seated next to each other as well. They took your IDs. They know that you're Ari. And probably a few hours later, you get to the police station.
Did they take our phones as well?
Yeah, they took
Okay.
everything relevant. So they have your phone. They probably have your camera, Tacitus, like your camera phone thing.
My grapnel launcher?
Everything you had on you is now in the back of their car.
Okay.
You have nothing of note unless it was like concealed on your person somehow. So you don't have it, and like they frisked you, so it would have to be like in a cavity on your person or built into you, that kind of thing.
We could have stayed and taught the dog tricks, but no.
Yeah, so I think there's probably like a cutback, and we see Bandit working really hard to like learn this trick. And I think Bandit is like aware of what Al is trying to do, and is trying her best to learn this trick. She understands that this is a game that Al wants to play, and he's interested in teaching her a trick. Al, can you make what check did I have you make last time?
Instructor.
Yeah, make another instructor check. I feel bad because I haven't had you guys do anything. We've been doing this other thing. Oh man, yeah. So I think Bandit looks up at you and she seemed dejected for a while. In fact, it's probably like you guys have been booked overnight. So this is like the next morning. And we come back after the commercial break on Bandit. And Bandit is looking a little dejected and like she feels bad about herself or something. And she gets up and she goes down to the cargo bay of her own volition. Like I guess maybe at some point Tacitus programmed the ship to open doors for her or something. Or maybe Al did or something. It's not hard, so pretty much anybody could do it. And she goes down to the cargo bay and finds the stick that you guys are playing with, this little like plastic thing. And she looks at it and she barks at it a little bit, paces around it, sort of like is almost like she's giving it like instructions, like today, you and me, buddy. And I think she sits down and waits for you to come down to teach her this trick, and she is convinced she's going to learn it. And the first thing you do when you get down there, you throw the stick. You want to catch a stick, girl? Yeah, great. And you throw the stick, and there's all this netting in the way, and she just runs straight into the netting again. But this time, she runs with purpose, and she runs into the netting, and she kind of catches it just at the right point where it pushes up and over her, and she runs through the netting and catches the stick and gets the stick off the ground. And she's so proud of herself as she's coming back. She runs through an opening that was like designed in the netting so that people could come in and out. She runs through that, drops the stick at your feet, barks proudly, and then runs back through the netting to get ready for you to throw it again. She has learned a trick.
Fuck yeah.
Roll XP.
Awesome.
But you can roll your XP. Nice. Perfect roll on that XP.
Damn, yeah. That was. Can you roll my XP for me?
What if it's
Be
contagious,
careful.
man?
Dude, sometimes I roll really good, and then other times, snake eyes.
Yeah. All right. So I think then, Al, you've probably been in charge of the ship as the senior partner in the interim, and you probably get a call on the ship computer from the Adelia police, and it's like blip blip blip, Adelia police calling.
This is the Jack Rose. How can I help you today?
Goes, yeah, is this the ship of Mr. Tacitus? No last name?
That absolutely is. He is not in right now. Can I take a message?
He's definitely not in right now because he's here with me. He's in holding.
Oh, god damn it. What did he do this time?
He was involved in some. I need you to come down to the station, bail him out.
I'll be right there. Hold on.
And yeah, so he clicks up. They give you the appropriate address to go to. On the other end, so it split screens, and we see Tacitus and Ari sitting in like the drunk tank, and
I have
there's
a new
one
goal.
guy. Okay, there's one guy in the corner of the drunk tank who's like got like vomit running down his shirt, mom spaghetti kind of thing, and yeah, it's not exactly a nice place to hang out. Hang on, where's that? Yeah, okay. That's an easy one. I think, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, and so you guys are both sitting there. There's one guy who's like vomiting on himself a little bit, kind of like spitting up every now and again. There's another guy who's still drunk from last night. It's probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And Zach is in there with you, and Mason, you can actually see him occasionally walking around, like free. He's not in a holding cell or anything. But he hasn't left the station all night either. At some point during this time, someone from the station comes down and asks for Ari, and says, Ari Mallory, I need you to please present yourself.
What you want?
He comes up and he says, you have a phone call.
Okay.
He goes, now, don't be and he's this guy. You get the sense that he's bored, and he's just like, you have a phone call. I'm gonna let you out. I need you to put your hands in. He shows like a little slot. He's like, put your hands in here. I'm gonna have to put you in cuffs. I'll walk you upstairs. We'll uncuff you, cuff you to the table. There's a procedure. You don't look as drunk as the rest of these assholes, so I guess just don't be stupid, and everything will be fine.
I kind of look at him a little skeptically. Cuffs necessary?
Yes, it's procedure.
Uh,
And he's got the cuffs out, and he's kind of like holding them in one finger and looking at you like, let's just get this over with.
I look over at Tacitus, shrug, and put my hands through.
Yeah, and so click on go the bracelets. He lets you out, and he basically is standing there. He's got a stun gun at his side, or stun baton, and he opens the gate and he goes, "You fuck stay in there." And a couple of guys like half get up and then sit down when they see he's got the stun gun, and he clanks the door shut. You walk out to an interview room. There's a phone in there. and in the corner, there's someone is standing there. Someone just shadowed standing there, and the phone is off the hook. You pick it up, and it's this Emmanuel guy, and he goes, "Ollie, is that you?"
Yeah, it's me.
He goes, "I think we will have you out of there in no time. I've paid your bail. You said you had someone with you, but I did not have his name, so I could not get his bail taken care of. However, there is someone who needs to speak to you. You should see him in the room now if you have not already. Listen to what he has to say. You just started. This is something far, far bigger than us, my friend. Call me again if you need me." And he just hangs up, and the guy off in the corner steps forward, and it's this chiseled jaw, clean shaven G-man. Like he's like he's a very handsome guy, but he's total government material. He's that kind of thing. And he says, "Mr. Mallory, hello."
How can you speak without a mouth?
That's not funny. I've seen that movie. I'm not here to
So-
take your mouth, Mr. Mallory.
Who wants to know?
I work for a group of individuals who've been trying to get in contact with your crew. We were supposed to meet them several days ago. Nobody ever showed up.
7 days ago, we were getting shot at. They weren't my crew then.
Several days ago, you landed on this planet. We contacted you immediately. No response. Clearly, your captain, Mr. Tacitus, no last name, doesn't appreciate the importance of dealing with us kindly.
Wasn't my captain very long ago. Who you?
My. You're very concerned, aren't you?
Yeah,
just-
you're very
he's-
threatening.
He's dead staring you, and he goes, "If you want to know who I am, why don't you just read me?" And he sort of smirks a little bit.
I shrug and read them.
Nothing. Blank. And he goes, "Silly psychics. You think you know everything." And he leans back and says, pushes a card out towards you. It's that same. You haven't seen it before, but it's a white card with a single small circle in the middle of it, and he says, "Make sure your captain comes to meet us at the time and date on that card." And when you look down at it, it has a time and date on it. It's up for 5 or 6 seconds, and then it's gone. And it's just long enough that you remember it. And it's very, you remember it exactly. You don't even have to think about it. And now it's back to being a circle. And he says, "Make sure he gets there this time. For some reason, he followed you around. Convince him to follow you to this appointment.
You can
We'll
bail
see
them
you-
out.
We've got that under control. We'll see you soon, Mr. Mallory." And he just walks out the door, and the cuffs are off your hands. And the guy walks back in, and he says, "You're free to go." And it's that same bored guy, and he just moves on to the next thing that he was doing. Around that time, Butch, Al arrives at the police station. Did you take Randy with you, or is he still on the ship?
Nah, I would have left him there.
Okay, Randy, what are you doing? It's like probably 9 o'clock now.
I am currently in the armory cleaning guns and other various firearms.
Okay. Yeah. So, probably Bandit at some point comes up to you and has that wooden, not wooden, but plastic replication of a stick, and puts it down at your feet and sort of half barks.
I pick it up and go and play fetch with her.
All right. She's very excited by this. Yeah. So I think also you notice, Randy. Can you make a perception check?
Yes. Against my I would take it.
Wisdom.
Ew.
Yep. You notice that she really likes that stick. Um, yeah. So, Butch, you get there, and the guy behind the counter looks overworked and underpaid, and he says, "What do you need? Why are you here?"
Apparently my captain got busted for something and is in a
Name.
holding cell.
Name, sir.
Do you want his actual name or his slave name?
Oh.
So that is a reference to a another character I did. I think it was episode 5 or 6. Her name was what I forget. Her name was like Roberta or something. Except that wasn't her name. It was in
Was like
it's great.
Michael.
It was my. So you should, Tim. You should find the clip and send that around at some point. It's great.
I'm here for Tacitus.
He goes last name.
There is none.
He starts to type in and then he stops and backspaces. He goes, "Fucking people with one name." Clicks the button. He's like, "Fortunately, it's a weird name. There's only one of them. He's in cell." He gives you some reference, and he goes, "Looks like there's no bail. He just needed someone to come pick him up. There was someone with him, but it looks like he's already been bailed out."
Okay, I'll go get him.
All right, next, and he just pulls in the next guy. And yeah, you head down, and you probably run into Ari on the way, and he's just walking out of the interview room. You probably see the white card as he like puts it in his wallet. You two can go pick up Tacitus and head back to the ship. We'll just diagonal white past that.
I see Al and I say, shit went weird.
Yeah, so you get back to the ship a little while later, and you probably run into to Bandit and Randy playing fetch. Butch, can you make a perception check against your wisdom? Yeah, there was a scar on Bandit's ear, like a chunk that was taken out of it. That's gone. So, like, her ear is healed over. And it had been there since you'd had her originally. So, something to note. Yeah, so what do you guys want to do now?
I want to talk to Ari.
I was gonna say, first thing I want to do is disappear someplace and send a text to Emmanuel. Just what the fuck?
Okay, roll stealth. And roll a... This has got to be like a search skill somewhere. This is going to be opposed, is the point. Roll...
Perception is really...
Yeah, I think perception is what you want. So roll perception, I don't know, wisdom, Tacitus. If you can get higher than a 9, you'll find him. Yeah. So you go off to skulk away, probably like you go off to your quarters and like hide in the closet or something, and you got your phone in front of you, like real close to your face. And you start to text them, and you hear knock, 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 and then the door just opens, and in walks Tacitus.
Yeah, I don't think I was being even quite that stealthy. It was more just trying to slip away. So I think I probably wouldn't have even have been hiding that well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think probably he just walks in and I'm standing in the room like halfway through a text.
Uh-huh.
Fuck.
I think you have something wrong on your list here. Yeah, your level 2 psychic powers. I think don't psychic powers cost their
Second
level?
levels cost 3. No,
That they cost-
I wish they did.
I bailed Tacitus out technically. Can I roll XP?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, if you complete a goal, you can just like
That
say
was-
I completed a goal. Yeah, there was no chance you weren't going to do that, so.
I rolled the first one as a belief.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no chance you weren't, so it's not a particularly high level goal, but
Yeah, page 25 has the point costs on powers, and it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11.
that's gross.
It is. It ramps up really, really brutally.
I guess when you're doing that point cost, the only thing that makes sense is the cumulative point gain.
Yes.
Because otherwise you couldn't cast your level 2 thing. And
Yeah, and-
you'd be able to only cast that or 3 times your level 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so Tacitus probably I'm role playing your character a little bit, but I think he would probably like knock and walk in. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Yeah. So I'm learning. I know your characters. Yeah, so Nox walks in and Ari, you're sitting, in your room texting.
I look up. Give me 5.
I'd like to review the mission we just went on.
I hold the phone up and I say, trying to get more info out of it.
You can text while I talk at you.
All right. So I send the quick just what the fuck was that text to Emmanuel along with a I'm sorry I couldn't buy you 5 more minutes. And then look up at Tacitus and say what?
So I'd give you decent marks for the mission. We did get out alive, and we didn't lose any money. That was good. Someone died. I'm going to put that as a negative. But it wasn't anyone we knew this time, so that is a positive. Overall, I'd say there's some things we can work on in the future, but I thought the mission went okay. We did get arrested, too. That wasn't so good. But
Someone died. Negative. We didn't know them. Positive.
Positive. So, yeah. Well, I tried to open the play up for you.
I just wanted to see what you would do. It's part of my job as captain to evaluate all crew members under stressful situations.
Yeah, and suppose I shouldn't have trusted you.
Oh, Jesus.
That is also a fair assessment.
Oh, my God. Paul, you make the most dangerously insane characters I've ever heard of. And it's wonderful. They're not insane in the classic, Malcolm Blackburn kind of way. They're insane in the...
Let's
the
form a
deep-
class action lawsuit.
in the deep, disturbing, this person might actually exist, and his name might be Paul. Oh my God. It's wonderful. All right, anyway, so, yeah, you got your little review.
Well, yeah, and I think he absolutely confirmed my belief.
Yes.
You just proved me true, buddy.
Yes, he absolutely did. So go ahead and roll XP for that.
What was this
And
belief?
if he wants to tell you, he can tell you. I'm not going to.
Be that way.
Oh my God, you really do roll poorly.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. And the belief is, if you don't watch your back, somebody else will, and you won't like it.
That's a good one.
I have the feeling that the more time Ari and Tacitus spend together, the more that's just going to keep getting reinforced.
Well, it's either gonna be like you either become like that gets reinforced, and you're like sort of a not antagonist, but like friend-tagonists, right? Like you're gonna be like frenemies, or you're gonna be like best buds at some point. And you'll be like his literally his better half, because Tacitus is kind of a greedy asshole. I think also, given that there were guns involved, you did not die, and there were guns.
The session is not over.
Goals complete. Anytime there's a risk of something happening, that's
Okay.
with the goal. That's how I usually do it.
Okay.
And then goals complete as soon as you succeed. So you have now relieved that danger. That situation is over. You can take that XP. And the way that like repeated goals work, so if you keep that goal up, its XP value will just go down over time, and eventually it won't be worth anything.
That's what I figured. Well, eventually, I'll have more than 2 hit points in every
Eventually.
single. every single combat situation won't be potentially life
Literally
or
2
death.
hit points. You literally rolled snake eyes on D4s. It makes me so happy.
Thanks.
So yeah, I need to actually rewrite that thing too. I forgot about that. Anyway, yeah. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to do? Oh, you sent a text. I think what you get back is, um, it's in Greek. It's actual Greek text.
Uh-huh.
And it ends with, "Don't worry about the 5 minutes. Everything comes around again eventually."
Well, that sounds like a threat.
And it like
That's how I choose. That's how I choose to interpret it.
sure.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah. So there's this Greek text, and then, don't worry about it. Everything comes around eventually.
So that's in addition to the Greek text, or that
Yes.
was in.
There's a Greek text, and then there's this sort of, and it's like the yeah, like he signs it, Emmanuel. It's from his personal, like I don't think he's threatening you. I'm just gonna say that you can't like empathically read him because he's not there. And
Yeah.
you can't hear him because I think it's like auditory. Like you're almost just like picking up the subtle signs. That's what the thing is. So maybe like you can read the subtext or something. But yeah, he's not threatening you. He's just like, that's how it is. This happens sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Just anytime Ari hears something
Yeah.
like, that'll it'll come back around.
Maybe he didn't say like it comes back around eventually. It's more like time is a flat circle kind of thing. Like everything it happens in cycles, and you just have to accept sometimes that bad things happen. Maybe it's in French, and so it just doesn't translate very well.
Yeah. Well, I shrug, put the phone away, and pay attention to Tacitus again.
Not gonna figure out what the Greek stuff says.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I'll do that when.
I'm gonna go
Tacitus
write it
is-
down so I
is-
don't forget what it says.
Yeah. I'm going to look into that when Tacitus isn't around.
Fair enough.
That was all I wanted to talk about. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, too bad we didn't get paid.
I walk out.
Okay. Yeah, so Al and Randy, what are you guys doing in the meantime?
I actually want to grab the little stick the bandit was playing with and take it to Tacitus and tell him to throw it in his spectrometer.
Okay. Yeah. He takes it to the lab. I think we need to
the
replace
lab.
spectrometer is not a thing anymore. You have a spectrometer in your nice lab.
My nice lab. No one
yes.
else's nice lab.
I was directly speaking to you, Tacitus. It is a locked lab that only you can get into. It actually has a sign above it. It's like handwritten. It's probably like written like someone was holding the thing in their fist rather than like a normal writing instrument. It just says Tacitus's lab, keep out, and like one of the E's is backwards.
I jive walk to my lab.
Yeah, so there's some drive walking occurring. And yeah, so you have this stick that is still kind of slobbery. And you take it into your lab. What kind of science do you want to do on it?
I'm gonna cut a little piece off, put it in the mass spec.
Okay. Yeah. When you cut a little piece off and put it in the mass spec, it comes back as like plastic and dog slobber. So there's like biological components and plastic components and so on.
Yeah, and I like type madly on the keyboard, and I'm like looking at stuff and like sliding stuff around. This is
Sure.
like just plastic and dog spit.
Do you want to do any other science on it?
I'll cut a little piece off and light it on fire. See what happens.
Okay. Why don't you make a science roll? That's what I'm getting at here. Science intelligence.
Don't make me go to Padre and tell me that it's some sort of like god miracle stick that healed my dog.
What? Do you want to do any weird science? So you're doing this on behalf of Al. So I think Al gets to ask the question. What is the specific thing you want to know about this stick / the dog?
Is there any scientific reason a piece of plastic should cause healing effects
No.
to a biological creature?
I
Absolutely
imagine you just have that face during the sciencey bits.
And yeah, you only get one question out of that. But no, there's no reason. The plastic had nothing to do with the healing. That was awesome. That's fantastic. What even happened?
Where does the face stop and the hair start?
I don't know. I don't understand.
Dude, that's all I'm gonna see now. Anytime Paul talks, that's what I'm gonna see.
Paul, make that your profile picture.
Oh God,
It's too late.
it's beautiful. It's
I'm a short hair guy.
Next character. If Tassus ever dies, actually, this is a side. To whom does the ship go if you die, Tacitus?
Probably my dad's sister.
Wow. You should probably write that up, make some bureaucracy checks, talk to your lawyer. Anyway, speaking of, we need to get back to that at some point. Things have changed in the sector. Maybe that class action lawsuit is having some trouble in the brave new world we find ourselves in.
I've got a call back to my question on the Brailment.
Okay.
My question is, did the Brailment have a weapon that could cause the kind of destruction we're seeing on this planet?
No.
Okay, well, that's useful too.
I think I said I'd answer 2, right?
No, you rolled for 1.
Did I?
You rolled 1 on a 1d2.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You rolled the 1d2. I thought I had rolled the Yeah, okay. Yeah, so no, they did not have any weapons of planetary destruction. It's not even, this isn't really weapon of planetary destruction. They didn't have anything that would do this. And certainly nothing that would do this and not leave some kind of obvious alien-looking signature.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the plastic had nothing to do with the healing.
I'm gonna take it and hide it in the med bay. Next time one of us dies, or almost dies, I'm gonna use this and see if it heals us.
Okay.
It's a bold plan.
That's how we roll.
Could always kill your dog, see what happens.
That dog's been through enough, and I just taught it a trick.
Trick could be useful in the future.
Could. You can
I'm
use
gonna
fetch
make
for a
that a
lot of
note.
things.
Yes.
Use fetch for a lot of things. That's what retrievers are fucking for. Anyway, not that a pit bull's a retriever, but you're better off teaching her sick 'em. But anyway, yeah. So I think the next thing that happens is you get a knock on, like, not a knock, but like a buzz on the ship door.
Well, how much time do we have until the time and place that I was given on the card?
It is tonight,
It's tonight. Okay.
like 6 p.m.
So that's only that's like 6-7 hours from now, then, give or take.
Yeah, it's
with
probably around
with
like
bailing out and getting back
it's
to
like
the ship.
11-ish. Yeah, so it's early or late morning, early afternoon time frame right now. So you have like TV time to get to it. So like it'll be the next thing we handle. So yeah, so you get a knock at the door of the ship, essentially, a virtual knock of the virtual door of the virtual ship.
I
Yeah,
go
my
and answer.
ship's you guys.
Who's answering?
I'll answer.
Yeah, so guy comes over the intercom. He goes, "This is Chuck. I need to get in the thing so I can check out your ship."
Hi, Chuck. Can you give me some credentials, please?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me go. He like goes into his pocket and pulls out a thing and he holds it up to the camera. He goes, "Name's Chuck."
I inspect his credentials and try to judge if they're real or not.
They look as real as credentials looked. Like he's a mechanic, not like a super spy. He's just holding up basically like his driver's license, and he's wearing like a a suit and has like a couple of wrenches on him or something. Hyper spanners.
Okay, I open the door.
Out of character, it's fucking Chuck. It's okay. Yeah, so the door
So
opens
does that
up
mean
and
does that mean he's carrying a spammer?
Ah, yeah, so he walks in, he comes up to the bridge and he goes, I'm looking for the captain. Is the captain here?
Yep, I'm the captain.
Okay, well, you want to need me to check out your spike drive? I need to figure out where the spike drive is. You want to take me there?
Yep, sure.
That sounds good.
Can I roll navigation to see if I can get to the spike drive?
You know where the spike drive is.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm doing my best.
I think it was left at the stairwell.
I'm doing my best to speak without commas, Butch, but I don't know that I'm doing a very good job. Anyway. Yeah, so you get to the
Hold on
spike
a
drive.
second. Well, keep going. I'm gonna send you a message.
Yeah, so he looks at the spike drive and goes, yeah, this looks pretty bad. I think it's pretty fucked. I guess, yeah, you have to, your hyper displacement drive is all fucked to shit, and you're gonna need new. Man, this is gonna be a big repair. Yeah, and he says it's gonna take me a minute to look at it, and if you give me a couple minutes, I'll get you a quote.
I enjoyed literally none of the words in that sentence, but go ahead.
Okay, that's going to be incorporated. Yeah, so he sits down, sort of in front of it on the floor, and he's got like his toolbox out, and he's kind of like got his legs kind of half crossed, and he's looking under it and holding his hand up, trying to like get under it, and he goes, "This is really, God, this is just not." And he's like looking up at it and looking down at his tools, and he fishes around. He's like, "I forgot, fuck." And are you staying in there while he's working on it? Or are you? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's like, shit, and he stands up for a second, sort of like looks at it and goes, yeah, it's just a really weird placement. I've never seen anything quite like this. This is really this is not easy. Well, this. He just sort of stops and looks at you, looks down, and he goes, "This is gonna be a little weird, but I think it'll be okay." And he just unzips his pants, and out plops this metal instrument. And it's, probably about 5.5 ish. And it's got like a piece of glass on the end, and it just lights up. And he's like looking around, and he's basically, got a flashlight in his pants. And he's looking at the thing, and a few hours later, of this sort of weird dance that mechanics do, he rolls 2d6 plus his thing and gets a 9. So he's his astronautics say that you're gonna be able to do the repair in about a week, 2 weeks. And so there's two options. Here's how it works out. You can either have it repaired in a week. You can have it done. Actually, let me put it this way. Pick two of the following: right, fast, or cheap.
Right and cheap.
Okay. It's
Good
gonna
answer.
take. It's gonna take. It's going to take 1 month, and it's going to take, let's see, I think I'm going to do, how much does a new spike drive cost?
Do they even have a listing for a base spike drive in price?
They do.
So, I mean, that,
AFK for a minute.
Sure thing. I know they do. Space combat maintenance.
Starship fittings. They have drive listing for Drive 2 upgrade is a 10K cost, but that's not.
Well, so we'll figure out a baseline off of that. What page is this?
Page 51, 50 and 51 is when you start kind of building a ship by component.
Okay, yeah.
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 Because it says all hulls come with a Drive 1 rated spike drive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have a frigate, so multiply by 2. Yeah, so I guess if it's an upgrade, you're paying price on top of whatever you have. You're not like replacing it. So there needs to be the accounting for the cost of replacement. So
Yeah.
I feel like So looking at the difference between a 5 and a 6, that's where it jumps type, like requirement of type. So I feel like that ratio of 1 to 5 probably makes sense in terms of how much it costs. So it's 5 times as much to get a whole new spike drive, which is basically what he's telling you. You need a new spike drive. It says multiply by 10 because of the star, and so I'm gonna say
Multiply it by 10?
yeah.
Oh, for a
So
frigate.
For
yeah,
frigate, yeah.
for frigate. You guys are a frigate. I'm gonna say it's probably not. It's not 500,000. That's way too much. I'm gonna say it's gonna cost, especially because you picked cheap. It probably costs 150,000 to fix. And he's like around there. You might be able to find a better deal if you go looking, but yeah, 150k credits. I will pull this face. Oh god.
This can only end well.
And he looks at you and he stands in front of you, sort of like legs spread, hands on the hips a little bit, and he's got grease all over his face and arms and probably his metal flashlight dick. And looks at you and goes, yeah, I really can't do much better than that. It's hard to get a spike drive these days, especially with all the stuff that's going on, and and lots of things got blowed up, and it's really hard to do. And well, it's just how it is, I guess.
Just don't let them upsell you to the undercoating.
Okay, Chuck. I will get back to you when I have the money to do this.
And goes, well, we can probably, yeah, okay. And he leaves you with a card, and he starts to walk out. He forgets to zip up his pants, puts his stuff down, zips up his pants, and walks out.
The pants zipping felt unnecessary.
I hit the intercom on the ship and I call everybody to the ready room.
It's time for a meeting. Yeah, so off everybody heads towards the ready room. During this time, it probably takes 2 hours or so for him to do his assessment, maybe 3 hours. What is everybody else doing? Let's start with Randy. Are you doing anything of interest?
Before coming to the ready room?
Yeah, like during the time when Chuck is inspecting stuff, because Tassus was just sitting there watching him.
I was mainly playing with Bandit after I got the stick back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Al put it in the ready room, but maybe you have another stick or something. I don't know. You're playing catch, whatever.
Yep.
So nothing interesting. Al, are you doing anything of particular interest?
No.
Okay. Ari, are you doing anything of interest?
I was actually going to see if I could track down Al, because I had a couple of questions for my direct superior, the person in charge of us.
All right. So yeah, you probably find Al doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but actually, when he finds you, Al, what are you doing?
Looking up space cat videos on SpaceTube.
So there's a picture of a six-legged. There's a picture of a six-legged Maine Coon cat, and it's like meowing at the camera and playing on a space pad. It's like hitting mice on a space pad, and playing some obnoxious happy music in the background. Yeah. So in walks Ari. What do you do?
So,
What's up?
what do you guys know about this place? Why are we here?
About what place? The planet?
Yeah.
We were here. Oh, I wouldn't have known that because that was the other character.
You might have read the logs.
The ship ended up here at one point. There was some notes in the files about a baking competition. Dude, when I got here, I'm not even kidding. The fucking pantry was chock full of brownies. Like, I don't know who the fuck was here before, but there's a brownie fetish. I wouldn't ask about it. I don't want to know about it. Brownies are
Miss
kind of
Brownies?
good, but
Yeah, I had the
anymore.
word brownies. Randy loved me some brownies.
God damn! That was halfway across the ship.
Doesn't matter. Randy heard brownies.
I gotta look up who the person you met was.
But the only reason we're here now is because this is the first place we can get the damn thing here. We're all busted to shit. Now we got to make repairs.
Wonder if
I
you guys have people here is all.
I burst through the door with Bandit, screaming, "Brownies! Where's the brownies?"
Jesus
That-
Christ.
Not
I feel like you have a gun, like just maybe it's not a real gun, but like you just have, like shooting it off like Sam, Yosemite Sam.
you got to find the flux capacitor, then you can get to the brownies.
That's it. Where's the brownies?
Flux
Where in
capacitor.
tarnation the brownies?
What he's seeing?
Jesus Christ. Oh God, this show blows hot and cold, man. Oh Jesus.
Hey, one of our guys actually legitimately uses tarnation.
Oh my God.
I talk to this guy at least once a week.
I am so sorry for your loss.
Oh, he is one of my special ones.
Al, you do see something about a Jordan McCoynigan in the ship's log.
Yeah, apparently we do know a guy here, but I've never talked to him, so I don't even know if he's friendly or not.
Tassus thing then.
He might. We should go ask about that. Which,
Yeah, just curious. Wonder why we're here. Strange things seem to be happening since we landed.
dude, strange things happen everywhere we go. First day on the ship, we had a guy bring a bunch of prisoners in, and I almost got gang raped. It was fun.
Yeah, that'll happen.
He sounds like he needs Jesus.
You know what? For the first time, we agree on that.
Hallelujah.
Oh my God, it occurs to me. Chuck has a literal fleshlight.
What?
Oh God!
I have succeeded in puns. Bow before me.
Slash thread. Done.
I win. Anyway,
Yeah, that's kind of all I was really shooting for with Al. So I kind of had the impression that Al had been here longer, but apparently not.
he's been here a while, but he's not been here as long as
It was after
Tacitus.
we left this planet. We left this planet on to the next one. I think that's where I ended up joining the crew.
Yeah. Or like I think you were leaving this planet, maybe I forget, but yeah. So for out of character reference, Patrick died on the 4th session. It's almost 6 months ago now. Game time.
So in other words, also out of character, he would have no idea who'd be looking for us on this planet.
That what
Or
do
he
you mean by
might not
looking
have
for
put-
us?
Well, basically, I'm obliquely fishing for, hey, would you know anybody who would be seeking out the crew and happens to be here who was also, the weird G-Man guy? I'm just not coming straight out and asking.
Yeah.
see, that's the circumference people, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they've been after
I
us
mean,
for a while.
it sounds like your character didn't pick that up. So
Well, no. Yeah, that's the thing, is that from what that guy said, they were supposed to meet on this planet when we, or were contacted when we got to the planet. So I don't know. There's a history there.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to feel out who they know here, which is going to be a disconnect because I don't have all the facts.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm also completely dancing around the subject.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, do you have other questions for Space Cat video watching?
No, that was pretty much what I had for Al. So it's kind of
Okay.
maybe a bit of small talk and then just sort of fade away.
Okay. I need to write down one thing.
So I'm pretty much just going to
Um,
spend the rest of the time looking up what the Greek was, and then waiting out Tacitus in the lab.
Yeah,
Waiting for
also
him.
OOC, we never really did anything with the circumference people, right? Like they notified us initially when we had some problems with peanuts, and then we never really got back with them.
yeah. You basically have blown them off at every opportunity. Um, they contacted you actually around the same time that Peanuts like had you in his employ. Um, but yeah, you never worked with them as far as I remember. They gave you a job that you never completed. Um, anyway, yeah.
I
So
don't think they ever gave us a job.
yes, they did.
What was the job?
They gave you a job to go to Afra and assassinate a target, and you never did.
I don't buy that for a second. Really?
It's in my notes. Yeah, I can
I
read you
don't
the
remember
job.
this job of yours.
Can other
It's-
people corroborate this?
I can show you the notes.
I believe your notes are as you have written them. I just don't think they represent the reality of the game.
My notes are the game. You understand that, right? I am God here.
If the notes don't fit, you must acquit.
I don't remember this job at all.
I've had it in my list as a mercenary espionage mission. It's been there since at least week 10. And
Is this
actually,
another crew you were thinking of?
nope, because Tacitus is the only character who hasn't died yet, despite my best efforts.
Yeah, it's
They
the
had
operative
you.
word.
So
It
be it.
says the lead-in is a mysterious man claiming to be something called the Circumference. Requires data to be collected from Rico Munoz on Gonzales Afra. Wants some no-name crew to do it, so that his employer maintains deniability. That's no longer a mission, so I don't mind telling you that. Anyway, yeah. That's been there actually probably longer than that. I think it was one of the early missions I generated. Yes, it's been there since week 2, maybe week 1.
I was absent 1 week. Maybe it happened that week.
The dog ate my homework.
So I have week 1 has a variant of that mission where it comes from something called the Circumference Cartel, but I ended up changing the name. Yeah.
So be it.
Anyway, actually, the great thing is I had the line in the mission list was just going to be have job, need crew, contact space, phone number -G because G-man. Anyway. So, yeah. So you guys head to the ready room after all of this, and
Well, while I'm waiting for Tacitus to be done in the lab, I would like to look up and see if I can find a translation of the Greek, just when nobody else is around.
sure. How are you doing that? What is your approach?
Is there a general use computer on the ship, or...
Yeah, you have like a laptop or something.
Okay. No, I don't honestly think I have no computer skill, and I don't think I would particularly know how to hide tracks. So I'm just going to look for a language translator and punch the words in, just kind of
space Google Translate.
space Google Translate. But I would at the very least, what I would be doing is punching one word in at a time, kind of randomized in order.
Mm-hmm.
So
So the thing about Greek is there are no spaces.
Oh God, that's right. I totally forgot about the way that's written.
That sounds like an awful language.
It's a great language, actually.
It is, but it leads to some interesting translational I guess judgment calls on a lot of old texts being translated.
All right then.
Well, one of the classic ones actually came out of a Philip K. Dick book, is where I first saw it, where he made the the kind of correlation between, imagine if English was written like Greek and you had to translate it. How do you translate that?
God is nowhere currently is the first thing I read.
Mm-hmm.
And it's either that or God is now here.
Yeah.
In a language where there's literally no spaces between characters,
Ambiguity, man.
any kind of translation or even just general reading is so ambiguous in some places and
Well, and
up
so
to judgment calls and context.
Yeah, the structure of Greek is such that it admits that ambiguity. There are other languages, Chinese for instance, which don't have this problem because of the way that their language is structured. It imparts the same semantic meaning as what a space does for us, but in a different way. So even though their language is not fully ideographic, some of it is not. They don't need spaces because of the way their orthography works and the way their language works would prevent that sort of problem. It's very, very interesting stuff. Linguistics is cool. Yeah, so what do you want to do then?
Well, then I'm going to have to just put the phrase into Google Translate and probably set off a whole bunch of alarm bells that, not being a technically minded person, I wouldn't think to not put this into a translator.
Okay. Make a you know what? No. When you type it into Google Translate, it's a little more advanced than our Google Translate, where it just tries to translate the stuff. It actually can tell you if it's like a valid sentence. And when you punch it in, it goes, that's not. It's in Greek letters, but it's not a Greek word. These aren't Greek words. They're not. This isn't a thing. I don't know what to tell you. So you get back no translation.
At this point, I think I probably, for the moment, get frustrated with it and just cease. That's as far as I want to have to do with that at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm just going to wait out the rest of Tacitus's lab time.
Okay, yeah. So you head over to the ready room after, you try this probably a couple times and it doesn't, like you tweak stuff and try to fix it, doesn't work.
Swear at the computer.
Yeah. So, you have this Greek message. You might want to put down that you have a Greek message. I have a note that I will put in my notes so that I don't forget about it. And then put down also for me, put down week 13 somewhere so that I know where to look in my notes for it.
Okay.
Put these. Oops, I'm sorry, not week 14. I don't know what I'm thinking. Notes from session. Okay, so you guys arrive in the ready room for the thing. Tacitus, what are you doing in your meeting?
Okay, guys, the short of it is we broke. We need a new engine, and we don't have enough money to cover the purchase of new engine. So we'll need to do a job and make money to purchase said new engine.
What kind of job?
Hopefully a job that pays, which you might think is obvious, but in the past was not always evident to this crew.
Perhaps we should make sure we're getting paid then.
Maybe we can pray for some.
I like your thoughts. And I proceed to just go in the corner and start praying very loudly.
Just like, I was going to say you're like mumbling to yourself, but no, you're just like, dear Lord, or whatever.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah, so what are the rest of you rational people doing?
Let's not toss the R word around quite so
Hey,
fast.
Listen. This guy shoots his gun inside for shits and giggles. I think that by comparison, rational is fair.
Well, we're rational on a curve, yes.
Yes, I grade by a curve, and Randy's tanking it for you, so you should thank him. Anyway, yeah. So what are the rest of you individuals doing?
Got any leads on this planet?
Well, we could talk to Peanuts. Or we could talk to these.
Talk to who?
The circumference people.
Peanut?
Yeah, Peanut's this nut job of a guy who is part of organized crime.
Huh. All right, plan
Yeah,
B. What's plan B?
we can try to talk to these Crucible, Circleable. What was their name, Price?
Crucible? What?
Dangerously insane.
What was the name of what?
The circumference. The word you're looking for is circumference.
Oh, no, sorry, headset cut
No,
out.
I was I was talking to Tassus actually.
Diameter, radius, whatever.
damn it.
Circumference people.
Yeah, you got a way to get in them?
I mean, they did talk to me through my business card, which was a little funky.
You
So,
be talking
yes.
about a demon, son?
Back that up. You have a business card that talks.
Only
Yeah,
sometimes.
rolling that back, it didn't sound very sane.
Show me the demon object. We must cleanse it.
I'll take out my business card.
Dude, don't.
Okay.
He's gonna shoot it.
I immediately take it from his hand and
Dude,
light
I
it on
duck.
fire.
I run out of
Yeah,
the
so
room.
when you pick it up, Tacitus, not Tacitus, Brandy, the circle disappears. It's just a white card, and you don't actually see the circle disappear like the camera does. But you're just holding like a white. It's almost like a white index card, it's smaller.
I still set it on fire and proceed.
It
to
doesn't
pray.
burn.
I pull out my shotgun and start shooting it.
No dice.
I waste about 3 rounds before I stop.
Yeah, there's a big ass hole in the floor where you were shooting it, but the card's still there. It actually just fluttered down to the next floor.
So during the time that Tacitus took it out before Randy took it, did I see that it was the same circle as the card that I have?
Yeah, it
Okay.
looked. You probably didn't see exactly it, but you can make a guess, and it's probably the same thing.
Okay. So 2 and 2 can safely be put together to make 3.5.
Yeah, for exceptionally small values of 2.
Yes.
I proceed to walk out of the ready room, go into the armory, grab a charge of C4, and walk outside.
Okay.
I locked the ship.
Okay. So, Randy, you're outside. You don't have the card with you because you didn't go pick it up. But you have a block of C4, so what are you going to do?
I thought I grabbed the card. I thought I said that.
Okay, so you can have the card. That's fine.
Thank
So you
you.
have the card. You have some C4. Mark off the C4 in your sheet. Make sure we have enough. What are you going to do?
I'm going to find a general open spot, place the card in the middle of the C4. And
Okay, roll
Well-
navigation wisdom, I think. -1 because you're definitely not thinking straight right now. Is it a 5? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no real open spots around, except for a playground that's maybe 500 meters away. Sort of like they've sort of parked you in like a common because they don't have enough room for ships, and so there's just a big open park, and that's where they've parked your ship.
I look at the playground to see if there's anyone in the playground.
Roll a luck check, and before you roll a luck check, do you want people to be there or not?
I don't.
Okay, so passing the luck check means nobody will be there.
Correct.
There are dozens and dozens of children happily playing. I think Bandit probably followed you out, and Bandit's like looking up and looking at the kids like, are we going to go play at the park? Is that what's going on? I fucking love parks.
I proceed to walk near the park, but not. I walk past it looking for an open area without people.
Okay, there are no open areas around. You rolled a 5 on that check, so. Like, that is the only open area within walking distance.
I continue walking past that anyway and looking for something like an abandoned building.
You could probably find some rubble. That's definitely true. So, about, I don't know, roll 2d6. What'd you get?
9.
About 9 miles away, there is a building that was blown up by one of the people who blew up all the buildings. And you could get there if you had a car or something. You have on your person, by the way, I believe, one shotgun,
Yep.
one charge of C4, and one business card that's plain white and seemingly indestructible.
What could
By
possibly
the
go
way-
wrong?
By the way, go ahead and roll your instinct, because something's going to go wrong. I can just feel it. We should get it out of the way now.
The XP for it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
God. All right. So we have this image, and it's like intense music is playing, but it's also sort of like slightly silly music, and it's following in like this sort of over the top, almost MLG-esque way. There's maybe it's like dubstep is playing, and we're following Bandit, who's like walking along, and there's a lot of slow-mo shots, and we see Randy, and he's got C4 in one hand, a Bible in the other, and like the card between his teeth, and he's like, "It's time to do righteous justice," and walking down the way towards this open area that for some fucking reason I decided to give him. Yeah, so I want to see that play out, but I also want to see what the rest of the rational people are doing.
I don't know. I kind of want to continue on with the Randy, and we have not had enough Randy this episode.
Fair enough. All right, so I killed him. So yeah, Randy, you probably, I want to say, like, you appropriate a bike or some sort of vehicle for the righteous work of the Lord. By which I mean you steal something, and get to this place in record time. Maybe you get a cab, I don't know. Maybe you threaten a cab with the fact that you have C4 and a shotgun. You get to this abandoned building. Everything around has been evacuated. You have a charge of C4, this thing, and your Bible. What are you doing?
I walk into the abandoned building, find a good general area along with a support column, plant the card in between the C4 and the support column, say a righteous prayer to the Lord, walk outside, and press the button.
Hang on, let me understand. So this is rubble. There are no support columns. It's fallen apart. But there's like a sort of a crater you can put it in.
That will work.
So like, you put down the card, then the C4 on top of the card. Is that how that works?
Hang on 1 second. I had to look at the picture.
I gotta look at the picture. Yes, exactly. So you have a card. You put down the card on the ground. Maybe put a rock over it or something. Put the C4 on top of it, and then walk a safe distance away.
I say a righteous prayer beforehand and then walk
Okay.
a safe distance.
Bandit looks down at what you've left behind and looks up at you, and like doesn't get it. But sees that there's like a stick-like thing on the ground, so she grabs it and walks with you. She's like, fine, okay. I guess we're not going to the park, but at least I got a stick. So, yeah. So
I check to make sure Bandit's following because I don't want to kill any living being.
okay, good. So she sort of stays behind for a second and like sniffs around the C4 and looks up at you and it's like, I'm not really sure what's going on. This is weird. Humans are weird. And then she follows you, and and she's healing next to you. How far away are you walking?
A safe distance. So probably about...
Couple 100 meters or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then you pull the thing.
I pull out the detonator, and beforehand I look to see if Bandit has followed.
She has. Thank you for caring about Bandit. I didn't have to kill a dog. And yeah, so she's right next to you. She looks at the detonator like she thinks it's a stick because it's kind of a long, tubular object, and so she's very interested in it.
I go and prep it to detonate.
So you flick up the switch.
And beforehand, since I am a mercenary, I am trained at least to be smart enough to wait to make sure I do not hear a beeping sound.
Yeah. So you're a few hundred meters away. You don't hear any beeping. Good call. I wasn't going to actually make you roll a luck check, but next time I will. Yeah, go ahead.
I pushed the button.
You hear a big giant explosion. The few people that are around look around like what just happened. Um, at some point they like go, "Oh my God, another explosion! This is happening again." I think that like Obi-Wan Kenobi style, Ari, you probably feel a great disturbance in the Force, and like people are all of a sudden really, really, really scared, and then okay again when they realize it's only the one, and they're like, okay, maybe this is just unexploded. This is okay. Everything's fine. They sort of like calms back down.
I just look up and say, "Yep, that's been Randy."
And so,
I'm content having completed the Lord's work
so
and go back
Randy,
to the ship.
can you make a luck check, please?
Yes.
So, a few moments later, you see fluttering down in front of you a small white object. And it lands at your feet. And when you look down at it, it is the card. It is undamaged, and in the center of it is a circle.
Blasphemy! This is a devil's object! I proceed to throw it in the deepest pit I can
So
find nearby.
you pick it up.
I pick it up near...
When you pick it up, your eyes go blank and roll in the back of your head. You fall on your ass, and you have a vision. And in this vision, you see an angel with wings 10 feet long on either side, so 20-foot wingspan. And it says to you, "This is not the object of evil. This is the object of the Lord."
Praise be to Jesus!
And then you come to, and Bandit is licking your face, and the card is at your side, and it no longer has a circle on it.
I proceed to take the card, go back with Bandit to the ship, preparing a shrine for said card.
Do you give it back to Tacitus?
No.
Okay, in the vision it says give it back to Tacitus, you psychotic asshole. Jesus Christ.
What a great use of a fucking plastic explosive.
And I really do believe that when he hit the button, we didn't watch the explosion. We snap back to the ship and are looking at Ari, and we hear like a in the distance, and then Ari just goes, "Yeah, that's Randy," and then back to Randy.
There should be a side shot.
That's our cutaway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making performance review notes on his sheet that he's wasting company supplies, wasting company time, and psychotic.
Yeah, so a little while later, Randy comes back with the dog and the card, and he's looking like he's seen Jesus or something. And I hope that as the angel of the Lord doth instruct, you give back the card to Tacitus and the more rational people in the party.
I do, as seeing the vision from the Lord, I do give it back to Tacitus.
Okay. And Tacitus, when you get it, a little face pops up, and it's just like a little like face of like almost like it looks like a clerk. It's just like a average woman, blonde hair, and you can hear this, but nobody else can. It says, "I got the fucking card back for you. Please don't lose it again." And then her face goes away, and there's just a circle.
I put it back in my pocket.
Yeah. So that covered.
Beautiful excursion.
When he puts the card back in his pocket, I kind of look over at him and say, "What's that?"
The card?
No, the pocket.
Oh, well, this is a high quality pocket. You know, I can't wear like plebeian clothes like other people. I wear, nice threads. So I'm not surprised you've noticed the quality of this pocket. It's quite deep. You fit a standard size wallet in here. I don't keep my wallet in here. I just keep the card. Does that answer your question?
I look over at Al and said, "Did you ever teach him sarcasm?"
What's sarcasm?
The age-old question, is that question sarcasm? Dun 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 dun.
Dear Lord, help me.
Amen, brother.
Thank you. I was waiting for it. I was waiting to trigger the third out of the three of you, but
So I think it's
man.
resolved then we should try to visit the circumference folks and see if they can give us money. in exchange for services.
What you know about circumference?
Does that mean we're gonna be prostitutes?
I don't know exactly what they do. I'm not saying they don't employ prostitutes, though.
Fair
So
enough.
they employ devil worshippers? We must cleanse them!
We won't know
Jesus.
until we talk to them. I know I don't like peanuts, though. These people are more neutral about.
Who's this who's this nuts person?
We met this
The
guy a while
wide
ago.
range of southern psychopaths.
I run over to Tacitus and whisper to him, maybe we should tell him Tacitus is a demon, and I will make the popcorn.
You run over to who?
Or run over to Tacitus and tell Randy that Peanuts is a demon, and I'll go make the popcorn.
Okay.
I would like to cut down on the holes in the ship. Ruining our room.
Yeah, now there's a hole in the interview room and the ready room. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
We're going to be putting up a lot of spackle, guys.
Okay, so... Excuse me.
I asked Tassus, so they got a job for us?
They wanted to talk to us. Whether that implies work or not is unknown. Although I imagine it does, since they want to talk about my clothes or my ship.
When they want to talk?
The last you heard, they wanted to talk about 3 days ago.
3 days ago, you know, sometimes with these things, when you're a captain, you need to learn some negotiation skills. And so sometimes it's good to, you know, let people stew. You can't just go right when they want you. They gotta really want you.
You gotta let people stew for upwards of a third of a year. It's gonna be a real good stew, man.
It's like
Slow and slow, right?
pressure in a
The
pipe.
best things are cooked low and slow, man.
That sounds like one of them sexual references.
Yes, it is. Would you like to find out more?
No, that's the devil's area.
So we could try to
Alright.
contact again. Maybe I could talk to my business card. That might work.
Worth a
Do you know
shot.
how crazy that sounds? Like, I'm just gonna go have a meeting with my business card. Is that even a euphemism?
I mean, I don't know. It might be a really thin phone.
Couldn't hurt to see what the card says. If not,
All right.
I got a lead or two.
I'm gonna take out the card again and talk to it.
What do you say?
Hello?
The circle spins a little bit, and a moment or two later, there's an address and a time.
Is the time in the future?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the time about 6 o'clock and the same address that I
Yes.
saw? Okay.
Your card, by the way, feels hot.
I am pointedly ignoring it.
Okay. It gets really hot.
Until it becomes actually physically painful, I'm not doing anything because I don't want them to know I have one too, unless I have to play that hand.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys heading over to the thing?
I resolve that we head over and talk to these Radius people.
Yeah, banner sounds good to me.
Yeah, the card stays warm the whole time. All right, it gets to a temperature and then kind of stays there. And it's an uncomfortable temperature, but not a painful temperature.
As long as we're sub pain, I am not letting on that I know anything about this yet.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. It'll take you about an hour to get to this meeting. What do you want to do in the intervening 3 hours? Does anybody want to do anything? Let me phrase it like that.
Good.
I don't think I have anything. I think I've asked most of the questions that I want to ask.
All right. So
We've got 3 hours.
yeah.
I want to make a supply run to town, and I will message you what I'm getting.
Okay. It'll be a little tough to find some stuff, so there might be things you can't get. Particularly any kind of emergency supplies might be tough to come by. But like
no, it's nothing
ammo,
like that.
that kind of thing. Yeah, like any sort of like military supplies. It might be you get strange looks for buying them, but people are mostly happy that people are spending money because there's been a disaster and the economy is going to take a nosedive.
Actually, I would like to send another text to Emmanuel and ask what happened to. God, I can't. I am just blanking on this damn guy's name. The dude who
LeBlanc?
we were trying to. No, the dude. Emmanuel Blanc's the guy I want to text. I want to see if I can follow up and just ask him what happened to
Mason.
Mason. I keep wanting to say Mallory, and I know that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little while after you text him, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, you get back. The authorities dealt with him. He's going through the process now. He's not going to keep his shield.
Okay, I just send back thanks.
Yeah, Butch, I think make a luck check. You can have the latter thing, but not the former thing.
All right.
You might be able to improvise the former thing by buying other stuff at some other point, but the latter thing is relatively easy to come by because of the times.
Works for me.
Yeah, so you get that text back, and there's more Greek with it.
All right, I'm leaving that one for now.
Okay.
At this point, Emmanuel's kind of weirded me out, so I got my update that what we did is at least produced something, and I'm going to just try and kind of keep my nose out of it for a while.
Okay.
Because it doesn't look like we're getting a payday from it after all.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, then I guess if nobody else has anything to do, then you guys head off to this other meeting.
I'm taking my gun.
All right, you have your gun. Is anybody else armed? Are you taking weapons?
I'm just
Yes.
taking my SMG.
I am clearly taking my shotgun.
Yeah, clearly.
Well,
That's
if
gonna
everybody
go-
else,
That's going to go swimmingly.
yeah, I'm not gonna take my rifle.
I'm more saying that Randy taking anything anywhere is probably going to go swimmingly. I have the rule: give the party explosives. Don't give Randy explosives.
Yeah, what is the general lawlessness versus non-lawlessness on open carry in the planet
now,
where we are?
Open carry in general is fine. Carrying a shotgun or pistol, it's sort of like Wild West. So like carrying a shotgun or pistol is
Okay.
fine. SMGs might be a little bit scarier in like a normal situation, but right now people, it's kind of lawless, so I think nobody's going to look twice.
Okay, then I will feel comfortable carrying my beat to crap old hunting rifle with me.
Yeah, so like normally the universe is like space North Carolina level gun laws, or like maybe Virginia level gun laws. Right now it's space Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So does that mean they're going to hand us a gun when we show up?
You're issued one actually at the border. If you don't have one, they have temporary ones you sign out for the duration of your stay in the state.
Free 12
normally-
gauge with every purchase.
Yeah. Buy one gun, get 3 free. Down here at Gunmart, because we don't have Walmart anymore. We just have Gunmart. It's replaced it. It's a store for only guns, and then there's a small section for like food and other incidentals. Anyway,
What are you doing buying food? Go hunt it.
I'm buying jugs of milk to shoot at with the gun that I'm buying at Gun Mart.
To attract the deer that he then shoots to eat.
Well
Anyway,
done, sir.
And where?
yes. Anyway. So yeah, carrying guns is fine.
Okay.
So yeah, you head out to this this place, and sort of actually it's kind of outside of town. It's not, there isn't really an outside to this town. Like, it's sort of everywhere built up. If you've ever been in the Northeast, it's that kind of thing where there's some areas that are less populated than others, but you're never more than a couple miles from civilization. And
Or Dunkin'
when you get
Donuts.
say again?
Or Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes. So that's if you're in Massachusetts. There's a Dunkin' Donuts. Actually, it was an aside. I was out the other day with my wife, and we were in Natick, and Natick's kind of a big town. If you've never been out to, it's adjacent to Boston. It's another big city. And we were at the mall there, and we left the mall, and there was a Dunkin' Donuts on one corner of the street. And I don't go to Natick all that often, but I'm like, oh, there's Dunkin' Donuts there. That's a thing. I now know that this is all, I can orient myself to the Dunkin' Donuts. And I turn around, and on the other, like the opposing corner of this intersection, there's another Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep. I think I know which
Yeah.
area you're talking about.
And it's
I
not like it's a
actually-
divided highway or anything either. It's like,
Oh yeah, it's like on Speed Street or something stupid.
Yeah.
I've actually seen worse. I've seen worse than that. When I visited my cousin years and years and years back, who was living in a suburb of Seattle, a couple of his friends and I took a day trip up to Vancouver one day, and there was we're driving through downtown Vancouver. There was a Starbucks on one corner. Kitty corner to that was Starbucks, and this is just this isn't even a 2 lanes in each direction major road. This is just a regular old 4-way intersection.
that reminds me of a Lewis Black joke. There's like, we left the Starbucks, and across the street was another Starbucks. And I looked to my friends and said, have we found it? The end of the universe? Is this where the ends join together to create the great circle of suffering?
Yeah, well, and that's the worst thing, is that there was the Starbucks there, the Starbucks kitty corner, and then on a third corner of the 4-corner intersection was either a hotel or it was some business that had in that business
Starbucks.
a Starbucks.
Wonderful.
Literally 3 of the 4 corners of this intersection, you could get Starbucks.
Listen, man, sometimes you just need some bucks. Anyway, so yeah, you guys head off to this meeting, and it's sort of in this one sort of depopulated part of the area. It's in the woods, basically. There's a few spattered houses, and you come up to this gated road. And you're in probably like a rental grav car or something. And you get to this gate, and this is the address, right? It's like, go here. And as soon as you pull your car up to the gate starts to open, and both yours and Tacitus's card get hot. And yours actually gets hotter, Ari, to the point of pain. Like, it hurts.
I take out my card.
I try and tough it out.
Okay. Make a physical effect save.
I knew you were going to say that.
Take a point of damage. You can tough it out, but it's going to cost you an HP, basically.
Yeah.
I almost made you roll, and I'm like, you only have 2 HP, and I kind of want you to be awake for this, so...
Oh, it would have been epic, though.
Yeah.
So stubborn that he literally passed out from pain.
Mm-hmm. You also have, like, a 2nd-degree burn where the card is.
It's a stronger constitution.
Yeah, well. I should have actually made you do a plus con. It wouldn't have helped you, but anyway.
Wouldn't help me at all. Nope.
Yeah, so you get to this thing. There, Tassus, your card starts to get hot. What do you do?
I take it out.
Yeah, so the card is it's warm to the touch. It's not hurting you or anything, and it just starts. It like orients itself, so it's almost like if you ever held like a gyroscope and it just like wants to be a certain direction. It does that, and there's an arrow, and it's pointing like in the direction you're supposed to be driving. Actually, that's a good point. I think that counts. You're like deflecting information about yourself. I could buy that. If you want to take XP for it, you think
No,
that's X?
no,
Okay.
that was purely a character. That's just a continuation of what I've been doing the whole time.
Okay.
But I keep playing it.
All right. So yeah, it just has like an arrow, and you're in like there's winding roads through these woods. They're all like kind of narrow and crappy, but they'll split off here and rejoin. And it's just an arrow that's telling you which way to turn. Can you make a navigation check against your dexterity? Yeah, so it takes you a little while to get there, but you do eventually arrive, and you get to this. There's a small building. It's like a bunker. It's not like a house or anything. No one would ever live here. Um, and it's concrete and steel and very military-esque. And the card just sort of says, "Come inside."
I giggle a little, and then I walk in.
Of course you do. And so inside there's a large round table. There's a single round light hanging over the exact center of it. And on one side of this table, sort of the far side from you, there's a guy who's sitting very still. And he says, "Hello."
Hello.
He's not
So-
the G-Man I saw before, is he?
No. He says, it's really good to finally meet you. We've only been calling for 4 months.
I'm a busy guy.
We're very busy too, Tacitus. Tacitus
down.
Tacitus at some point had a last name, right?
No, I don't think he ever had a name. I mean,
So-
last name.
Like, where is he from that he would not acquire a last name? What
Ooh.
planet are you from?
Aerophile in the
Sudeki?
Sudevi?
Sudevi, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're from
The South.
He's from the evil space.
Yeah, so you're from down there. I really do feel like you would have a last name, but if you really don't want to have a last name, that's fine. There's not a lot of people who wouldn't have a last name. You might have lost it over time or taken on an alias, but anyway, I think this guy looks at you and says, we're very busy too, Tacitus. It's in any case, we have work for you.
What kind of work?
Because, well, you're aware of what happened, right?
No.
Certainly you've seen the destruction.
I am aware of the results, but not of the cause.
I suppose you were away for quite a while. Let me explain. A few weeks ago, in one fell swoop, every major world in the unified society was hit by a mass terrorist attack. Hundreds of explosions, millions dead. Across every world, without exception. Our reports say that it happened in the People's Republic as well, but we can't confirm it because they won't talk to us anymore, because they believe we did it. And unfortunately, some folks in our government believe that they did it to us. What you may not be aware of is that there were peace talks that were occurring. You're certainly aware of the Cold War. In fact, you're from the People's Republic. You must know that we've been in a state of massive espionage war for many years. And he sort of just looks at you expectantly, like he's expecting you to nod.
I do nothing.
I need your crew to investigate what has happened. We have details on a man who perpetrated one of the bombings. Fortunately, his residence was unaffected. We need your crew to investigate, determine who he was, what his motivations were, why he did it, and ultimately who he was working for. Doing this will prevent a intersector war, and it'll probably pay pretty well too.
Am I in the room with them?
Mm-hmm.
Do I get to exact righteous justice on this terrorist?
He looks at you and he says, unfortunately, this terrorist is already dead. I would have very much liked to speak with him. And he looks back at you, Tassus, and he says, so, Captain,
Will you pay to fix our engine?
that can be arranged.
Then I'm your guy.
Good. And he says, if you look at your card, that's how we'll talk with you. And he hands one to Al and Randy, and he hands an extra one to you, and he says, this is for your other crewmate. We understand he's not awake yet. Something about brailment or whatever. Make sure he gets that, and make sure he understands how this works. When we call, you answer.
Praise the Lord and earth back from the Lord.
And Boomhauer subtitles, yay. Uh, yeah.
Do you guys
So-
have any pre-tech engineers by chance?
He looks at it and he goes, why? I suppose.
We have some equipment that might help us, but we have manuals that we need help translating.
I see. I'll see what we can do.
What makes you think? What makes you think we're the ones you should be using for this?
He says, Ari, I've watched you, this crew. I've watched everyone for a long time. I think you're the right crew for the job.
Are you sure you've been watching the right people?
Positive. I've known you since you were a kid.
That damn creaky.
Thank you. And he just sort of smiles a little bit.
So, who are you people?
You can call us the Circumference. You can call me Archimedes. But that's for later. And he sort of like gestures towards the door and says, you should get to work. And Ari, as you're walking out, you see above the door, there's a phrase that's in Greek. And you recognize it as the first of the two phrases that Emmanuel sent you.
Interesting. I actually wanted to ask him one more thing before we left.
Sure. Like, so you guys are walking out, you can talk to him.
Say, this sounds dangerous. What are we walking into?
He says, everything's dangerous, Ari. Everything is not as it seems in the world. I'm just trying to make it right.
I'm broken. I need bullets.
We'll get you some bullets. And I think he probably, like, stops for a second. Because he, like, realized you said, I'm broke. And he goes, here. And he hands you a cred stick, and it's got, like, 200 credits on it.
I nod and say, "Good. Don't tell the captain."
Goes. He's greedy, but he gets shit done. And he turns around and walks away. And as you guys walk out, the door shuts behind you. And you feel like the ground start to rumble, and the bunker just starts to sort of sink into the ground and cover over with dirt. And by the time you leave, it's like it was never there. And I think that's roughly where we're going to end today. So, for those of you with goals that may have completed that I didn't notice, does anybody have one of those?
No.
I'm kind of on the fence about goal number 4.
Let me pick it up. Hold on.
I mean, that's kind of... I think the yes or no there is almost more dependent on the other players, and because, I mean, literally, it's, one of my goals is to find a niche with the crew and prove I'm not worth spacing, despite being broke.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he's found a niche?
Niche and what?
Like in the crew, does he fill a role that's needed?
Not yet.
Getting
Yeah,
there.
Okay.
yeah. I think that was a progress, but I don't think that.
I'll buy that. Yeah. So does anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Andy, did you have anything?
I had one goal, and the rest are beliefs or instincts.
Yeah, you get a lot of mileage out of that instinct, man. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, good session, everybody. I will
Good
see you
session.
next week.
Thanks.
Latest.
Bye.
Yep.
Like,